Extend a welcome to our Cablecast 13 viewers who will be watching this game on Cablecast. And Jim, it looks like the weather will be a definite factor. Before game, it was very dark and overcast, but now the weather has turned into a freezing rain kind of snow affair here.
Well, a crowd of about 150 students on the far side and roughly 300 people from Kingston on this side. Not a huge crowd for this one, and I can imagine with the weather being as it is, that had something to do with it. But it is going to be a very exciting game between these two clubs. As Steve Cutway mentioned in the opening there, McGill is the only team that has beaten the Golden Gales in this regular season, and that game ended on the very last play of the game when McGill scored a touchdown and got the convert necessary to beat the Gales by 1 point, 34-33. And it's going to be a similar game this week, I would think. Interesting in the Gales lineup that Langford was introduced rather than Shad, although we know that last week Shad was put in very quickly as soon as the McGill or the Carleton Ravens were threatening to score down at the Gales end, and Shad went in there for the Gale line defense. And I think he's probably healthy down there on the bench and ready to play should he be called upon to do so. Langford, although, has done an excellent job for the Gales in at his position.
Well, he certainly has, Jim, anchoring that defense, which has played so well all season for the Gales. The Gales are to our broadcast left. Will be receiving this Richie Climass kick. Bill Barable and Jamie McKinnon back there, and the football just flew off the tee.
Okay, so it's the third-ranked Queens Golden Gales taking on the seventh-ranked McGill Redmond, and the O-QIFC final set to begin. Calling the first quarter is the sports director, Dan Maloney.
Thank you very much, Jim. Climass kicks it away, and it bounces down at the 20-yard line, picked up by McKinnon at the 20, up over the 25 to the 30, and he's tackled down there by a host of McGill Redmond, and the Gales will take over 1st and 10 from their own 35. Setting up the Gales offensive unit, Bobby Wright at quarterback, and he'll have Ted Bergeron at fullback, Scott Sterling at the halfback position. Ross O'Doherty is the wingback, Pendergast and John Larson the tight ends for the Gales. Center Tom Stefopoulos, Tony McDowell and Steve Porter are the guards, and the tackles are Mark Oakley and Steve Hudson. And there's an injured McGill player on the field. We can't get a number there, but that's on the first play. Just underway here, and the Gales set to start off this O-QIFC final game when their first possession.
Well, in the backfield, Bergeron and Sterling. Bergeron 9 for 46 carries 49 carries, 46 yards in last week's game against the Carleton Ravens. Sterling was 18 for 92, claimed 2 touchdowns, and is leading the playoff scoring for the Golden Gales at 12 points. Also, second place there, Bill Barable with 8 points on a field goal, 4 points on a convert, and 1 point for a single. Then Bob Wright and defensive back Rick Prinzen, both in there on the playoff scoring with 6 after 1 touchdown apiece.
That's Gill's first quarter lead of 16-7 was a fumble by Scott Sterling, and then a block punt on the Gales' 9-yard line. Okay, the Gales on offense here have O'Doherty in the backfield with, besides Sterling, the pitch out to Scott Sterling around the left-hand side of the line. He's wrapped up by a host of McGill Redmond there. Getting in to put the tackle on him was number 75, Don Burns. And Sterling just getting back to the line of scrimmage there.
Well, the Gales did beat the Carleton Ravens handily, but we noted that in other statistics, the Gales didn't do so well, passing 82 yards to the Carleton Ravens, 322 yards. First downs, 19 to the Carleton 33. The Gales did not exactly beat up on the Carleton Ravens despite winning them handily.
Well, the handoff around the left-hand side of the line this time to Scott Sterling, and he goes ahead and picks up about 5 yards, but it won't be enough for the first down, and the Gales were 2nd and 10. And with 14:02 remaining here in the first quarter of play, the Gales will be kicking the ball away to the McGill Redmond.
Well, impressive play by the defensive line of the McGill Redmond so far, as they held Sterling just at 5 yards there on that series of two carries. Bill Barable kicking with the wind at his back.
Barable having a good day kicking last week as he outdistanced the Carleton punter by a good deal of yardage. Barable standing at his own 22-yard line. Falcone and Evele back to receive. Barable gets it away. The ball is coming down to rather Lalonde. That's number 20 at his own 30-yard line. He's under pursuit at the 25, 35, and is tackled down to 37. As getting in there to make a tackle on him was George Jackson. So, 1st and 10 from their own 37-yard line, and Jamie Crawford running the McGill offense. Jamie Crawford played a couple of years ago for the University of Alberta Golden Bears and took them to the College Bowl. He's trying to take the McGill Redmond to the College Bowl this year. He has Mike Sandham at the fullback position and Sylvain Lemaire, number 22, at the halfback position. The slot back is Glenn Miller, and handing off that time to number 25, Alain Deschamps. He can't get around the right-hand side of the line, and he was tackled down, getting in there, 51, Joe Valente, and number 50, Gary Kynock.
Good speed by Dakers to get around the end there and get, I think, a first grasp of Deschamps and slow him down, and the other defensive guys got in there and did a number on Deschamps.
I think we're going to see quite a sustained running attack, or attempted a sustained running attack today, as Bobby Wright, 2nd and long, elected to go for the run and didn't put the ball in the air. And we'll see what Crawford elects to do here at 2nd and 11. As Joe Evele now coming in to replace Ray Lalonde. Falcone is wide to the left. Evele wide to the right. The backs go in motion to the left. Crawford, he's back to pass this time, looking over the middle for Evele. He's got it. Burley wraps him up, but not before he picked up the first down at the McGill 51-yard line.
Well, a good pass into the wind on that one. Moves the sticks for the McGill Redmond, the first down of the game. And the Redmond bring the ball to their own 50-yard line now. Of course, this is the only team playing the only teams playing the O-QIFC. It's come down to the final between these two ones. And in the OUA McMaster at Toronto at Varsity Stadium for the OUAA final. Of course, the winner of that game will be hosted by the winner of this game for the playoff bowl in the East. And the winner of that one, of course, goes to the Vanier Cup.
Crawford sending motion once again, back to pass, looking for Lalonde. He's got it, and they mark the reception. John Corrigan going for an interception there, but catching the ball was number 20, Ray Lalonde, for McGill for a big first down. And that pushes the ball into the Gales' 41-yard line.
Some catch by Lalonde as he got hit instantly as he made that catch and managed to hold on to it despite the wet weather and all here, and the hit he sustained. So the McGill Redmond move the ball in, have their second first down here.
Crawford not afraid of this wet weather, as he's been putting up the ball more than he's run with it so far.
And now 1st and 10 from the Gales' 42-yard line. Crawford sending the backs out of the backfield. Will be passing once again, looking for Alain Deschamps, but he's going to keep it himself. Crawford up over the 35 to the 30-yard line, making a tackle on him. Shad, he fumbles the ball, but he was ruled down as picking up a first down there for the McGill Redmond was Jamie Crawford, as he kept that ball himself when Alain Deschamps was covered.
Just talking to the coaches, they say that Crawford does enjoy running the ball. They say we're not sure as he's as effective as he does enjoy it, but certainly was effective there as he broke a couple of tackles.
Of course, Crawford is quite a big player, 6'5", 205 pounds, so he's going to knock down some of those defensive Gales halfbacks. Crawford hands off straight ahead to Sandham, and he stumbles ahead and picks up about 6 yards, getting inside the Gales' 25-yard line. And Jim, you mentioned that Langford was introduced as the starting linebacker, but Shad actually did start the game for the Gales in the inside linebacker position.
Well, from the look of things early in the first quarter here, the Gales will need all their strength to stop the McGill running. The Redmen have picked up 3 first downs and are 2nd and 5 now with the ball at the Queen's 30.
Joe Valente seems to be shaken up on that play. Trainers for the Gales are looking at him. He's down on one knee.
Notice George Jackson has run in there now and will probably scrimmage in Valente's position, at least until Valente gets over this injury, if it's not too serious. Now just lying down on the field, and the training staff looking at his ankle area, it looks like. Time on the clock, 11:04 early in the game here in the first quarter, and still no score on the board. But the Redmen have moved the ball effectively against the Gales on their first possession here and have brought it down to the Gales' 30-yard line.
Well, I was noticing, Jim, that the McGill Redmen changing up Lalonde, Everly, Falcone. They're rotating those three players around with every play. So plays coming in from the bench. Charlie Bailey sending the plays into Jamie Crawford, and that's Bailey getting information from the McGill spotters, maybe seeing something in the Gales defense. But now Joe Valente is on his feet and making his way off the field slowly, but he's under his own steam.
They did that in the last game, too. You'll note that Dan changing up their receivers. And they do have a number of more than adequate receivers to use in that.
Lalonde is wide to the left. Joe Evelay is wide to the right. Glenn Miller in the slot. He goes in motion. And the backs roll out as well. The pitch out to Alain Deschamps. Flag on the play. Deschamps over the 20 into the 15, and he's still on his feet at the 10-yard line. But there is a flag down on the play, and we'll have to wait and see what that is about, as Deschamps, on that pitch out from Crawford, was able to move the ball well inside the Gales' 10-yard line.
Well, an offside penalty against the Gales is declined. And so the Redmen have the ball, first and goal to go, and it'll be spotted at the 6-yard line. Nice pickup by Deschamps. Boy, John Corrigan had him wrapped up at about the 10-yard line there and slipped off the tackle. And Deschamps managed to get it down to the 6.
First and goal from the 6, rather. Crawford sending Miller to the left-hand side. The backs roll out. The pitch to the other side to Deschamps once again, trying to get around the left-hand side. A good play there by Jeff Kyle to wrap him up for a big loss as the McGill tried to spread out the Gales' defensive unit there, but Kyle broke a block and threw Deschamps for a loss of about 4 yards.
Well, Kyle was lined up across from the fullback, Mike Sanham, there, and managed to throw him off and did make an excellent move to get around to Deschamps and drag him down. So now it's second down, goal to go, but the ball spotted at the 10-yard line.
Crawford sending out Falcone to the right-hand side. Lalonde to the left, and back to pass is Crawford, and he's under pressure. Kynock gets a hand on him, and now wrapping him up is Mike Shadd, and he's thrown for a loss, as getting in there also on the play was Steve Bodner. So the Gales unit comes up big there, and they threw Lalonde, or rather Crawford, for another big loss.
Well, the big play defense comes up again as Gales, whenever they do need the big play, the defense comes up with it. And so that forces the McGill Redmen into a field goal situation with their kicker, Richie Klimas, coming on.
Well, Klimas will be trying. It looks to be coming from about the 22-yard line. And Klimas, the ball is held. He puts it up. It's blocked, and it goes wide, and the ball will go down in the end zone. Falling on it is John Corrigan, as I did not see who got a hand on it in there for the Gales, but somebody blocked it.
Well, either Dakers or Bodner, I think, were in there, as the two of them were in the backfield after the play occurred, and so the Gales stop the field goal attempt and will give up only a single. 1-0 for the McGill Redmen early here in this O-QIFC final.
So it looked to be 7 points for the McGill Redmen when they were 6 in goal on the 6-yard line, goal to go, ended up with just 1 point, thanks to the defensive work of the Gales defense, and Bodner, I believe it was, who blocked that field goal attempt. He did block a punt earlier this season.
Well, the Gales take over 1st and 10 from the 35, and Bobby Wright sending everybody out to the left. He's back for his first pass of the game to Bissessar. He's got it at the center field stripe, and Scott Bissessar and a big catch there. And in the pregame show, Jim mentioned we might see, or hope to see, Scott Bissessar have a big game for the Gales, and he's started out so far.
Well, Bissessar, I noticed, is he's wearing golf gloves because of the weather. First of all, it's very wet and it's very cold, so keeping his hands warm and just getting a little bit of better grip on the ball with those golf gloves.
Big play there for the Gales. 8.5 minutes to play in the first quarter. Bobby Wright hands it off to Ross O'Doherty. He's wrapped up right away. Wrapping him up there was Denis Touchette before he could pick up much of a gainage there. Second down now and 10 for the Gales. 1-0 is the score in favor of McGill.
I'm sure the McGill Redmen have adjusted their defense, as they are noted for being weak against the run, but so far they have really held the Gales' running attack.
One interesting statistic that I got from some of the McGill papers that McGill outscored their opponents 56-30 on the season, but that was in the first quarter. In the second quarter, they were outscored 89-61. So now Bobby Wright is under pressure. He's got lots of time to throw. Going for Bissessar again. He's got it at the 38-yard line on a big play there as Bobby Wright was throwing under pressure, and he got it away to Bissessar.
Well, give the Gales only first downs in this game. It's got Bissessar, a couple of them on nice passes by Wright, and it's nice to see Bissessar come alive. He's had a couple of mediocre games in there for the Gales, and the Gales, between Wright and Bissessar, have had some troubles with passing plays and so on, and we've seen a lot of Bobby Wright passes intended for Bissessar just go incomplete, and it's nice to see Bissessar really coming into this one.
Good block thrown in the play there by Steve Porter as well. That's a handoff to Scott Sterling. He's got a first down and still on his feet into the 20-yard line of McGill, and the Gales are marching here. 3 big plays, 2 passing plays to Bissessar, and 1 to Scott Sterling on the run. And he's got a first down for the Gales at the McGill 20-yard line.
Well, the Gales are answering an impressive McGill rush by putting a possession together themselves and moving the ball easily. This is the 3rd first down. 7:16 showing here in the first quarter, and the Gales behind by a score of 1-0 on a single by the McGill Redmen.
Right, hands off to Scott Sterling around the right-hand side of the line. Sterling to the 20 and is tackled down there. Good play by number 36, Mark Santeri, for the McGill Redmen. Picking up about a yard on the play was Scott Sterling.
So far, Sterling's rushed 4 times for 25 yards. So a good average of about almost 6 yards a carry. Didn't get much that time, though.
Coming into this game, Sterling has 2 consecutive 2-touchdown games. The last one last week against Carleton, the one the week before against McGill. 2nd and 9 for the Golden Gales. Bobby Wright on the bootleg, swings it out to Bergeron. It's over his head, intercepted but dropped by number 9, Steve Bailey. And it goes incomplete as that ball was thrown over the head of Ted Bergeron, but Bergeron made a good play to knock the ball away from Bailey.
Well, Steve Bailey, he is the son of Coach Charlie Bailey, the coach of the McGill Redmen. He wishes he could have had that one, but good heads-up play by Bergeron as he hit him hard.
And that pass may have suffered because of the weather for sure, as Wright had the time to throw it under a little pressure, but had a good throw away and just threw it over the head of Ted Bergeron, and I imagine may just be weather conditions hampering the throwing arm of Bobby Wright.
Bill Baraball attempting a 26-yard field goal here that would put the Gales ahead. If he makes it good, he puts it up, and it's wide, and it'll go for a single as it goes out the end of the end zone. So with 5 minutes and 58 seconds to play here in the first quarter, the Queens Golden Gales have just tied the McGill Redmen by a score of 1-1. So both teams putting together impressive drives and coming away with missed field goals. And now McGill will take over 1st and 10 from their own 35-yard line. 1-1 is the score. 5 minutes and 50 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Crawford has the backs in the eye, sending Miles Druckmann to the right-hand side of the line. Now the backs roll out, handing off to Alain Deschamps. He tries to go around the left-hand side of the line. Good play. The ball pops loose, picking it up for the Gales, or rather bouncing around, jumping on it wildly as it goes out of bounds, and it's Gales' ball. As trying to jump on it there, boy, number 42, Dave Dakers, Norm Fenning, and John Corrigan tried to get it as well, but the ball just spurted out of bounds.
Are you kidding? Everybody on the team tried to get that one as the ball was live for a good deal of time. Nice containment work by Jeff Kyle to hold Deschamps, and then a good hit put on him by a Gale also, and the ball sprang loose. As you say, just about everybody on the Gales had a chance at it, and finally one of the Gales knocked it out of bounds, and so they take over the ball at the McGill 25. Good field position for the Golden Gales, and it's nice to see turnovers going their way as well.
Well, it certainly is good to see that.
Turnovers played a big part in the Carleton game, as Carleton totally dominated the offensive statistics except when it came to turnovers, in which the Gales came through, and Rick Prinzen returned an interception for a touchdown, and Jeff Kyle returned one to the 4.
Okay, the Gales, 1st and 10 from McGill 25. Bobby Wright back to pass under pressure, going for Pendergast. It's knocked away. A good play there by Mark Santeri, as Pendergast was in position to make the reception, but a good play by Santeri. And number 75, Don Burns, is the injured McGill player on the field.
Well, early in this game, Santeri has turned out to be a factor in playing some very good plays for the McGill Redmen in the Redmen backfield. This is real genuine snow falling at Richardson Stadium now. This has turned from kind of a slushy rain into full snow. And not collecting, I don't think, down there yet. But as this game goes along and it gets colder, I don't know.
Well, most of the Gales on the sidelines are wrapped in their warm-up suits there, as quite a few of the McGill Redmen have their red windbreakers on, as Don Burns still down on the field. And they seem to be attending to his right ankle, as he may have twisted it as he was trying to get some pressure on Bobby Wright. But he's on his feet now and limping slowly off the field. 4 minutes and 57 seconds to play here in the first quarter. The score is tied at 1 after a Richie Klimas block field goal attempt that went for a single and a wide field goal attempt by Bill Barrable of the Gales. Now the Gales up over the ball will be 2nd and 10 from the McGill 25. Everybody rolls out of the backfield. Bobby Wright back to pass, has some time over the middle, gives it to Larson. He's got it and was hit heavily there. Taking the hit on him was Steve Bailey, but Larson holding on, and a big first down for the Gales, moving it in to the McGill 12-yard line. So the Gales are 1st and 10 from the 12.
Well, good job by John Larson to hang on to that ball as he was just hammered. And Gales very good position now to put 7 points on the board.
Bobby Wright handing it off to Scott Sterling around the right-hand side of the line behind Porter's blocking, but he only picked up a couple of yards as he was wrapped up. And that picked up about 3 yards for the Gales, so Scott Sterling has been the running workhorse so far for the Gales today. 2nd and 7 for the Queens Golden Gales from the McGill 10-yard line. Inside the 10 at about the 9.5. Bobby Wright brings the Gales up over the ball once again, dropping back to pass, and he's under pressure. He's going to run with it himself, but he's tackled down. Getting a hand on him was number 71, Mark LaRue, and he threw Bobby Wright for a loss that time, moving the ball back to the to the McGill 19-yard line.
Nice play by Wright. He looked like he was going to get out of that, and it was an equally nice play by LaRue, who caught him just as Wright was squirting out there. It looked like he was going to get out and have a chance at making that pass.
Well, now Bill Barrable will be attempting a 24-yard field goal. He missed one earlier from 26 yards. John Corrigan holding for the Gales. And Barrable, he puts it up. And again, it's wide. Going back, taking it is number 20, Lalonde, but it goes out of the end zone. So single points have dominated here so far in the first quarter as Barrable missed on a 24-yard field goal. And you don't see him miss 2 in a row from that close very often.
Well, similar, that one a better kick, but similar position as it went to the left of the goalpost. And so the Gales up on top by a score of 2-1. Sounds like hockey here that the Gales are playing.
Well, the weather is certainly conducive to hockey.
Snowing in full strength right now here at Richardson Stadium. 3 minutes left to play in the first quarter, and the Gales are leading 2-1.
Well, after that fumble by Elaine Deschamps, the Gales not able to capitalize except for the single point. And now Crawford, he's dropping back to pass, swinging it out for number 20, Lalonde, coming to Fenning. He knocks the ball away, and a good play as Fenning was right there to knock the ball away from number 20, Ray Lalonde.
Oh, Fenning had Lalonde all the way covered. Crawford just looped it up, hoping that Lalonde would manage to out-battle Fenning for it, but Fenning, the all-star cornerback, got the best of that one.
And coming in with a play from the bench, number 19, Joe Evele, as Lalonde makes his way out. And the McGill Redmen have done that exclusively so far, switching up those players, as I mentioned. 2.5 minutes to play here in the first quarter. The Gales leading McGill by a score of 2-1. 2nd and 10 from the 35. Motion to the left this time, dropping back to pass is Crawford. He wanted to swing it out to Deschamps. He swings downfield, intending for Druckmann. Fenning intercepts it at the 45, returns it to the 55-yard line, out of bounds, and he's tackled down there by number 33, Mike Sanham. And the Gales, another turnover here, have got the ball in McGill territory on the second straight time.
Well, Norm Fenning adds an interception to the playoff records here for the Gales, having also been a big interceptor for the Gales during the regular season. And so now 5 interceptions for the Gales as Mark Burley had 2 earlier on in this in the Carleton game, and then Princeton and Kyle, of course, both coming up with 1-2. So the Gales, another interception, and now they're 1st and 10 from the McGill 52.
1st and 10 from the 52-yard line. Bobby Wright hands it off to Bergeron straight ahead. Flags fly on the play, as Bergeron only picked up about 4 yards. So appears to be procedure against the Gales would be the early indication on that penalty. As the Gales have a new formation in the backfield there, as they have almost a T set up at Scott Sterling directly behind Bobby Wright, and then about a pace and a half behind those two, and split behind Sterling are Ted Bergeron and Ross O'Doherty. And that has seemed to work quite effective for the Gales so far. Procedure was the call against Queens, and that pushes the ball back to the Gales' 54-yard line, where they'll be 2nd down, or rather 1st down repeated in 15. Again, same formation for the Gales. Rolling out are the backs. Bobby Wright back to pass over the middle. He's intending it for Larson. It's knocked away on a good play there by number 36 of the McGill Redmen, Mark Santeri. And again, he's Johnny on the spot for the Redmen.
Mark Santeri has been Johnny on the spot, all right. He's broken up. That's his 3rd time he's batted away a pass, almost intercepting that one. It's just been all over the field for the Redmen.
Well, Bobby Wright throwing into double coverage that time. Santeri right along with Luke Menard was right on Norm Fenning, or rather, excuse me, John Larson. And now 2nd and 15 for the Queens Golden Gales. As O'Doherty now in the wingback position, Bissessar wide to the left, and Bobby Wright fakes to Scott Sterling, right, intending for Pendergast over the middle, rather to O'Doherty. He's got it all the way into the 15-yard line of McGill, as Ross O'Doherty out of the wingback position making that great big reception.
Well, what a catch by O.D. as that one went down on the wrong side, and O.D. was looking at it one way and then turned around and caught it over the other shoulder and managed to hold on to the slippery ball and take it all the way down to the 15. Nice pass, but a great catch by O'Doherty to turn around and still keep his eye on that one.
He, of course, caught a 96-yarder, the Gales' first touchdown in the McGill game during the regular season here at Richardson.
Well, Ross O'Doherty has been the big play man all season for the Gales. And now the Queens will be 1st and 10 from the McGill 15-yard line after that big play from Bobby Wright to Ross O'Doherty. Bissessar is wide to the right this time. And play action, right back to pass, looking in the end zone, and with it, Larson had the ball in his hands, but it fell away as Mark Santeri put a hit on him. And that goes incomplete, and the Gales will be 2nd and 10 from the 15.
Oh, right on the goal line, Larson had that one, and once again, weather perhaps playing havoc there, and he just didn't come up with it. Nice hit also by McGill, and it goes incomplete. The Gales 2nd and 10 from the 15. 31 seconds showing on the clock here in the first quarter. The Gales up 2-1 over the Redmen.
Well, the clock is counting down under 25 seconds now. Bissessar wide to the left this time, right. Back once again to pass, flooding the end zone with receivers. Bissessar, just out of his reach, as he was out there with number 21, Denis Touchette.
Touchette had good coverage on Bissessar that time, too, and they both had to go high for it. Either of them coming down with it. I think one of them, Bissessar, had his hands on it for a second.
Sorry, Jim Wright just threw that a bit too late, found Bissessar, because Bissessar was open at the time, but once the ball was thrown, the defensive back for the McGill Redmen managed to catch up and give Bissessar some trouble. A little high the ball was, and just off the fingertips of Scott Bissessar.
This should be the last play of the first quarter, as Bill Barable gets 3 chances for a quarter here. And they whistle the ball down here. No time left on the clock, as I believe the Gales wanted a clean ball. And they're having one brought in now, as Barable missed on 2 field goal attempts from in close, one from 26, one from 24. He was wide to the left on both of them. And he's coming from the same side of the field. Corrigan holding. It's a good snap. Corrigan sets it up. Barable puts it up, and it's good. And with no time showing on the clock here, the Queens Golden Gales have gone ahead of the McGill Redmen by a score of 5-1. And we'll be right back with the second quarter play-by-play.
We're CableNet 13 in Kingston.
up 3 times, twice on fumbles and once on the punt attempt that was blocked.
I feel bearable. And
Redmond have capitalized on those and are ahead by a score of 6.
By play, here's Mark Bischoff.
Thanks, Dan. And Crawford fading back the throw. He's looking lots of time to throw. Loads of time. Steps in the pocket, fires away to Miller, and just over the head of Miller, incomplete, as Rick Princeton provided good coverage on that. Well, all kinds of time for Jamie Crawford to throw there, as the line was holding up good, and then when there was some pressure, Crawford just stepped right up into the pocket and just fired away.
Well, Crawford showing a lot of poise there, getting that ball away.
Good coverage. Gale's secondary, as it's pretty hard to cover your man for that amount of time, but they managed to do the job.
2nd and 10 from the 35-yard line for McGill.
Crawford going back to throw, sees pressure, rolls out. He's looking deep again down the middle for Falcone. Oh, too far and incomplete.
Well, stride for stride with Falcone that time was number 8, Mark Burley of the Gales, and the ball was out of everybody's reach there, and the Gales defensive unit comes up big on 2 passing downs there for McGill, and now Queens will be getting the ball away as C.I.S will be punting it away. I believe this will be the first punt of the afternoon, as all the other turnovers were the result of interceptions, fumbles, and scoring plays. So C.I.S standing at his own 20-yard line. First punt for the McGill Redmen.
Very strong leg, C.I.S has, gets the ball, takes his time, kick, a good booming kick. Strong win, McKinnon's got it at the Gale 30. Going around to the 35, up over the 40, to the 45, and a good return, and he's finally hauled down.
Well, Jamie McKinnon that time just ran right over top of John Corrigan, who was blocking in front of him, as McKinnon, with a good burst of speed, moved the ball outside the Gales' 45-yard line, and they'll be first down and 10.
Good run by Jamie McKinnon, the rookie. And so the Gales will have a chance to put some more points on the board. They are winning by a score of 5-1. Just early in the second quarter here, play. Right, lining up over the center now. Hands off to Sterling. Sterling going around the side and gets over to the center stripe. And that'll be a pickup of about 9 yards, very close to a first down. Good sweep there by Scott Sterling.
Well, Sterling showing good poise there as he switched the ball from his right hand to his left hand when he saw the pressure coming on his right-hand side and kept the ball away from the McGill tacklers. And they will be requesting a measurement as he is very close to a first down. And the wind seems to have picked up here at Richardson Stadium as the snow is being blown right into the face of the Gales. And we'll see if it is a first down.
It's going to be close, Dan. I think they'll be probably about a yard short. Half a yard, that is. Bobby Wright watching on as he wants to know the verdict.
Once again this week, head coach of the Gales, Doug Hargraves, is in the press box acting as a spotter. And they appear to be just short of a first down as the referee now moving the ball out into the center of the field, using the chain to measure it. Second and very short for the Gales now, as Scott Sterling has been running very well for the Gales. So far in the game, it's been a matter of very impressive drive, which have stalled and resulted in kicking opportunities for the two teams.
Scott Sterling running 6 times for 37 yards. Our statistician, Ryland Coyne, has informed us.
And now the Gales second and less than a yard as the officials keep trying to keep the ball dry, holding a towel over it as the Gales' Tom Stefopoulos now comes up over the ball for Queens.
Bobby Wright, everybody in motion. Wright just goes forward and he'll have the first down and more as he goes to about the 53-yard line of McGill Redmond.
Well, Bobby Wright following the blocking of the offensive line that time, pushed the ball all the way into the McGill 52-yard line, and Queens will be first and 10 from that area on the field. 13 minutes, 12 seconds to play here in the second quarter. 5-1 is the score in favor of the Golden Gales.
And Sterling gets the ball, up, and he'll pick up about 4 yards as he's tied up right away.
Well, Sterling fumbled the ball on the play and turned it over. Recovering it was Steve Bailey for the McGill Redmen. So Sterling, once again, fumbling the ball. He had one fumble against McGill in the last game that Queens took them on, and now McGill will be first and 10 from their own 45.
Well, I think we're going to see a lot of turnovers in this game, Dan. It's very adverse conditions here at Richardson Stadium. It's snowing very hard. The field's very wet as it's been raining and snowing all week. And so the McGill Redmen will have a chance to put some points on the board here. They're at their own 45. Crawford over center. Long call. Gives it up to Deschamps, and Deschamps gets about, that's Sylvain Lemaire, second string halfback, and he goes up the middle for about 3 yards.
Well, I was down there. While I was down there earlier buying my coffee, I could hear John Thompson yelling to the Gales, "Get your cleats clean, guys, get your cleats clean." And indeed, that's the way it is with the muddy fields out there. The Gales having a little trouble with footwork.
That could be a factor in the game today, Jim.
Second down, Crawford. 6 yards to go. Hands off to Lemaire again. Lemaire sputtering and gets some yards, but he'll be short of the first down. Good job by the defensive captain, Phil Marsland of the Gales, to stop him.
Marsland had him wrapped up in a shoestring tackle, but as Deschamps tried to break it, he fell forward and will be marked down about 4 yards down. And just being delivered a first quarter score from the McMaster-Toronto game, as Rick Miller, is 9-7 was the score in favor of McMaster. So we'll hopefully be able to provide you with scores on that game as this game goes along.
McMaster Marauders, of course, making their first appearance in an OUAA final for football. And Klimas now back to punt. Gets the ball, takes his time, kicks it. Another good one. Corrigan's going to get it. He misjudges it. And it's a fumble, bit of a mix-up in communication, and McKinnon covers up, and the Gales will be starting very deep in their own zone at about the 5-yard line. So seems like McGill is getting the best of these exchanges on punts.
Well, with the wind carrying that ball, Klimas got a good kick away, and the ball was well over John Corrigan's head, and he really did not have much of a chance to catch it. But he knocked it down, and Jamie McKinnon fell on it. And now the Queens will be first and 10 from their own 5-yard line. So Mark's right, they're starting in a hole here. 11:22 to play in the second quarter. 5-1 is the score in favor of the Golden Gales.
Bobby Wright over center now. Sterling in motion. Wright hands off. Counter. Up the middle for Bergeron. And he gets some good yardage up over the 20-yard line. And boy, that play even had me fooled. Very, very good execution there, as it looked like it was going to be a counter to the slot back, Ross O'Doherty. But it was straight up the middle for Ted Bergeron, and he got some big yardage out of that one, gaining 15.
Well, Bergeron has been the workhorse all year for the Gales at the fullback position after the injury to Larry Moore, and he's picked up a big 15-yard gain there for the Gales to move the ball out to their own 20-yard line.
And Wright handing off to Sterling. Sterling goes up for about 4 yards. Not much there. Make that O'Doherty.
O'Doherty picking up about 4 yards on the play. 2nd and 6 for the Gales. As under 10.5 minutes to play here now, and there is an injured McGill Redmen on the field. I believe that's number 26, Luke Menard, the deep safety for the Redmen. And Bobby Wright will take this opportunity to go and talk with John Lynch on the Gales sideline.
Menard's down on one knee. He seems to be shaken up. The trainers are talking to him. Doesn't appear to be too serious.
Not a bad crowd on hand at the beginning of the game, Mark. Very sparse crowd on the far side, but the main section has quite a few people in it now.
It's really picked up, and hats off to those people braving the cold out here.
Good crowd noise went up there when the McMaster-Toronto game was introduced. McMaster out ahead after first quarter by 9-7, and the crowd thought that was pretty good, and a lot of applause. But I think the crowd mostly wants to see the Toronto Blues come to Queens if the Gales indeed go on to win this one. I think it would be the old rivals, the Toronto Blues, that the Gales would want to meet here on the Richardson Stadium field.
Well, they sure would. They haven't met them since 1974, and it would be nice to rekindle that rivalry. As 3 of the big 4 teams, McGill, Queens, and U of T, are still in playoff contention this year for the College Bowl. Of course, 1 and maybe 2 of those teams will be eliminated this weekend. This is a sudden death game here, the Gales and the McGill Redmen. And walking off the field now is Luke Menard. He's being helped a bit by the trainers. Anyway, Wright is over the ball now. O'Doherty's in motion, fakes the handoff, going to throw, looking deep over the middle to Bergeron. He's got it. No, he couldn't hang on. Bergeron wide open, just couldn't quite squeeze that ball. And Mark Santeri was hot on his heels.
Well, again, Santeri getting in there to put the hit on Bergeron as he had the ball bounce around in his hands. And again, the cold may have been affecting him there as Bergeron not wearing gloves. And his hands may have not have been soft enough to make that reception.
Well, the Gales had trouble hanging onto the ball last week, but the weather was much better. At least this week they do have an excuse. It's very difficult to hang on to that ball. Variable now in punting formation. McKinnon and O'Doherty, the blocking backs. High snap. Good job by Variable. Almost blocked. Gets the punt away. It's fairly short at the 35 and just rolls out of bounds at about the 36-yard line of the Gales. And not a good punt by Variable as that snap was quite high.
Well, Variable got it away under pressure, and he was hit after he kicked the ball away, and he was talking with the official about whether not roughing the kicker call, as he was definitely contacted by one of the McGill upmen coming in to try and get the ball. Now, 1st and 10 for the McGill Redmen from the Gales' 37-yard line. Queens winning here 5-1 with 9.5 minutes to play in the second quarter.
Crawford calling out the signals. Miller's in motion. Crawford fading back to throw. It's a quick out to Deschamps, but too far for him as Crawford was under all kinds of pressure there from Gary Kynock.
Well, fortunately for the Gales, that Deschamps did not catch up with that ball as he was wide open and there wasn't a Gale within 15 yards of him. And Coach Hargraves is sending a lot of defensive pressure in on Crawford, and that seems to be telling the tale here as Crawford has missed on a couple of passes with players, Golden Gales, right in his face. So,
well, they believe that Crawford throws the bad ball when he's under pressure, and they're trying to force some interceptions here. Crawford backing up now to throw again. Looks over. Taz Miller knocked away. Good play there as that goes incomplete. Ian Deacon providing the coverage there. He was man-on-man with him as he was the last play. And he comes up with the big play, and now they'll either have to go for a field goal or punt. I'm not quite sure which.
Well, usually when you get a back like Everlay, they're going out against the linebacker. The offensive back has quite an opportunity and an advantage in speed, but not that time as Ian Deacon was stride for stride. And this will be a 44-yard attempt coming from Richie Klimas. And that will bring the game, McGill, within 1 once again.
Klimas, it's wide, and picking it up there is John Corrigan, and he concedes a single point. And so far the kickers have not had a great game, as only 1 of 5 attempts by the 2 kickers have been good. That is Bill Variable. He kicked one in. Now that makes the score 5-2, and this is not Golden Gales hockey. This is Golden Gales football, but you wouldn't know it by the score. Lots of time left, though. 8:33 in the second quarter. Snow is stopped now. Wind is still fairly strong, though, and of course the field and the ball is quite wet. Right over center. Bissessar and O'Doherty go in motion. Everybody's going to the right side. Right back to throw. Rolls out to the right. He's looking. Finds no. Incomplete. As he intended that for Bergeron, but he overthrew him and underthrew Bissessar.
Well, under pressure that time coming from number 71, Martin LaRue, the nose tackle for the McGill Redmen, and he was chasing Bobby Wright, and Wright having to throw that one on the run.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10. Wright not having much of a day throwing so far. And Wright now calling out the cadence. Everybody goes in motion again. He's back to throw, looking over the middle, has Pendergast. Pendergast at center field. He's got some room, the 50, the 45, the 40, and is hauled out of bounds at the 38-yard line by the defensive back, Mark Santeri.
Nice play by Pendergast after making the catch to put a move on the defensive backs and pick up another 15 yards running it. Very alert play by the Gales' veteran defensive end.
And that play certainly picked up the crowd as they're coming to life again. I'm sure they want to do a lot of oil flies today to stay warm.
Well, the snow, sorry, Jim, the snow has returned here to Richardson Stadium once again and is blowing very briskly. 7:23 remaining here in the first half of play. 5-2 is a score in favor of the Gales, and once again, center Tom Stefopoulos wants to have the ball wiped off.
I'm going to correct myself there by saying Pendergast has been known to play offensive end as well as defensive end.
And so they're going to huddle up again as well. Right, perhaps changing the play here. Saw something he didn't like. And that ball is very wet. The officials doing their best trying to keep it dry. And the snow is really coming down heavily now. And right over the ball. Bissessar in motion, going to the right. Sterling to the left. It's a handoff up the middle to Bergeron, and he gets about 3 yards, not much more than that.
Well, that was the same play that Bergeron ran for the big 15-yard pickup when the Gales were 1st and 10 from their own 5-yard line, but McGill weren't fooled a second time there as they wrapped up Bergeron after a pickup of about 3 yards.
It's very interesting, the nose tackle for the McGill Redmen, Mark Lebrecq. He is an all-star, but before the season started, he was not the starting nose tackle as Linden was, and he had a knee injury and put him out for the season, so quite a Cinderella story for him. Anyway, lots of flags go down as I believe it was procedure, and so we'll just have to see the signal.
Well, the whistle was blown as soon as the ball was snapped, and that is time count violation rather for the Gales, as Bobby Wright taking quite a good deal of time to get that play away. So time count against the Gales, and that pushes the ball back 2nd down now and 12 from the McGill 37-yard line.
I think they want to eat up as much of this clock going against the wind as possible. And Wright throwing over the middle to Pendergast. Oh, and he couldn't get it, and everybody's calling for interference. Doug Smith broke that up, the halfback for the McGill Redmen, and the fans here at Richardson Stadium aren't happy about that one.
Neither is the coaching staff on the behalf of the Gales, as they're all holding their arms out, and Ross O'Doherty as well, talking with the referee down on the field. But no call on the play, and now it will be 3rd down for Queens, and 12 to go from the McGill 37-yard line.
Big play, as that was the 2nd down, and Pendergast may certainly have had that one had he not been hit immediately as he caught the ball, or as some people believe in the stadium before he caught the ball.
And Baraboo lining up to punt. They're not going to try a field goal from this range against that strong wind. He gets good snap, and he gets a good punt away. Lots of time, and angles it out of bounds at about the 11-yard line. And good punt for Bill Baraboo, and also putting it out of bounds, not giving the Redmen a chance to return that.
Well, as you mentioned, a good kick going into the wind that time. Baraboo getting it down, and they mark it out of bounds at about the 14-yard line. And McGill will be taking over there as it went out of bounds. And the Gales defensive unit has come up big today. A couple of interceptions and a fumble recovery. And 6 minutes remaining here in the second half of play. 5-2 is the score in favor of the Gales. The kickers accounting for all of the scoring.
Crawford rolling out the throw. Lots of flags over the middle. Tries to hit Ray Lalonde with it, but incomplete it goes. And we'll just have to see what the call is.
I think it's offside against the Gales. I think number 50, Gary Kynack, jumped offside from his defensive line position.
Gales are going to have to be cautious with the penalties, as they've cost them dearly, especially in the regular season game against McGill. .5:49 left to play. 5-2 is the score. Gales leading. 5:49 left to play in the second quarter, that is. And now Crawford over center long cadence call right up the middle, and it goes nowhere as Mike Sanham didn't get any yardage on that play.
Sanham may have even lost a yard there, as they were first down and 5, and now they'll be second and about 6 yards. Kynock making the tackle on Sanham that time. Approaching 5 minutes to play here in the second quarter. 5-2 is the score in favor of the Gales, thanks to 2 singles and a field goal by Bill Barabuk. And McGill scoring all coming from the toe of Richie Klimas on 2 missed field goals.
And Crawford back to throw again, looking over the middle, sees Lalonde and just missed him.
Oh, John Corrigan was thinking interception all the way on that as he stepped up and the ball just popped through his hands. But the Gales defensive unit comes up big after McGill was first down and 5 from their own 17-yard line. So now the Gales will be getting the ball back once again, as Klimas will be forced to kick it away. We should mention that the first quarter score in the OUAA final game was McMaster 9, Toronto 7. We hope to be able to provide you with scores on that game as this game continues.
Oh, bad snap, and Klimas gets a kick away. Not too good. Going to Corrigan. Corrigan has trouble hanging on, and does. That's the second time Corrigan has had trouble with the ball. And the Gales will get it at the McGill own 53-yard line.
Well, Klimas having problems. The snap bounced into the ground ahead of him, and the punt went off the side of his foot. But once he kicked it up in the wind carried it. And that may have been the reason why Corrigan had problems fielding that ball. And once it fell through his hands, he just held onto it. And now the Gales are first and 10 from the McGill 53-yard line.
This is in motion to the left. Counter play. And right over the middle, O'Doherty's open. He's got it complete. Breaks the tackle, going for more yards. He's going all the way. Touchdown. Ross O'Doherty. And the key play on there was John Larson throwing a block on Doug Smith, the defensive halfback for McGill Redmond, to make that go for a touchdown. And so the Gales go ahead by a score of 11-2.
Well, 54-yard pass and run play there for the touchdown. And the Gales coming up big there with the Ross O'Doherty touchdown. And as I mentioned earlier, he's been the big play man for the Gales. He had one that went for 96 yards in the last game against these McGill Redmen, and he's got one for 53 yards here today. So the Gales have gone ahead by a score of 11-2, awaiting Barable's point after.
And Barable kicks it, and it's good.
Well, nice running by O'Doherty after taking that ball, too, and he put a few moves and got a couple of blocks there as well and ran it into the end zone for the 6 points. O'Doherty has really been the clinch player for the Gales over the last few games as he made some big pickups, and he made a big pickup earlier in the first quarter here as well to get Gales in the scoring position. And the first major coming from right to Ross O'Doherty, and the Gales up 12-2. The winner of this one, remember, the O-QIFC final goes on to the game that will decide whether they get into the Vanier Cup or not against the OUAA team.
Just a super block there by John Larson, too, to make that go all the way for a touchdown as he took out the last man for the McGill Redmen. And Barable lining up the ball on the 45-yard line for this kickoff. And he's just getting ready, getting the fence. And there's the kick, and it's deep to the left side. Picking it up there is Lalonde. Lalonde doesn't get much of a return. And excuse me, that's not Lalonde. It's Alain Deschamps. And about a 4-yard return by Deschamps. And so the McGill Redmen, trailing by a score of 12-2, will take it from their own 32-yard line.
4 minutes to play here in the second quarter, and Jamie Crawford still in at quarterback. I noticed backup quarterback Jim Joachim was warming up on the sideline, but Crawford is at the controls still for the Redmen.
And Crawford now barking out the signals. He's going back to throw again. Throws it just over the middle, almost intercepted by Rick Prinzen, incomplete.
Well, pass intended that time for Miles Druckmann. He's the one that beat the Gales in this last game with his last second touchdown. And knocking that ball away was Prinzen, as Mike Shad was step for step with Druckmann.
Princeton, of course, he had the big interception last week, 54 yards for a touchdown against Carleton. And he almost had himself another interception there. And so it'll be 2nd and 10 for the McGill Redmen. They're lining up Crawford over center. Counting out the call. Miller goes in motion. And Crawford back to throw once again. Some pressure over the middle, incomplete as it's short. Intended for Ray Lalonde, but he missed him.
Well, it appears that Doug Hargrave's strategy about getting some pressure on Jamie Crawford is working here early in the game, as Crawford has not been that impressive, really, passing the ball, and he's had a lot of bad throws. Of course, the weather may be a factor there, but it can't hurt that the Gales are getting some pressure in on number 7 of the McGill Redmen, Jamie Crawford. Now Klimas will be standing at his own 15 and kicking it away.
And snap, and Klimas is going to try to run it himself. He gets to the 30, the 35, and is finally knocked off his feet at the 38-yard line, and he'll be short of the first down, and that is a big play for the Queens Golden Gales, as they'll take the ball right there instead of receiving a punt from the McGill Redmen. And it's interesting to note that was another bad snap that caused that play, and that's 3 times now, twice for McGill, once for the Gales.
Alert running by
bad snaps.
Alert running by Klimas on that play, though, Mark, as he almost made it back to the first down territory, and the Gales driving him out just 2 yards short of that. Klimas really showing some speed under pressure there, but doesn't quite make the yardage, and the Gales will take over the ball at the McGill 37-yard line, and good field position for the Golden Gales, who are out in front. The 3 whistles blow to indicate 3 minutes left here in the first half of play.
Interesting statistic is no yards so far for the McGill Redmen in the second quarter. And here's Wright rolling out to the left to throw. He's going to run. He's got lots of room to run for it. And he gets to about the 31-yard line of the McGill Redmen, but a yard short of the first down, as he had all kinds of room to run.
Should mention again that if the Gales were to go on and win this game in the playoffs, then they would be just sealing a tradition or a trend that's been developing the O-QIFC between these two teams over the last few years, as the Gales in 1981 and 1980 both times lost the regular season game against the Redmen, then came off and won the playoffs. They've won 4 straight playoff games against the McGill Redmen in the last 5 years. One of those only a semifinal, the other one's all finals. Of course, including the miracle of McGill in 1981, where they went up against the Dirty Dozen and pulled out a 26-19 victory.
And Wright just keeps the ball himself to get the first down, and I believe he does have it, as he only needed about a half a yard. Yes, he does. Another interesting statistic I noticed, Jim, was that of the last 4 games these teams have played, the visiting team has won, but hopefully the Gales will stop that trend this game here.
Well, they seem like they may be able to do that, as they're leading by a score of 12-2 with approaching 2 minutes on the clock here at George Richardson Stadium. The Gales are first down and 10 from the McGill 27-yard line in a snowy and blowy day here at George Richardson Stadium.
And Wright over Stefopoulos, gets a snap. He's going back to throw, has some time, and just throws it short to Pendergast, so it's incomplete. He had all kinds of pressure there. And now it'll be second down. He's looking to the bench to see what the play is. John Lynch, of course, relays those plays in to Bobby Wright.
In the second quarter, interesting statistics so far, Jamie Crawford is 0 for 6 in passing, and he's only 2 for 12 on the entire game for 31 yards. And that's almost the way Bobby Wright was in this game against McGill last week, or 2 weeks ago at homecoming, where Wright was 2 for 9 in the first quarter.
And Bobby Wright going back to throw. Rolls out a bit to his right, throws over the middle. Oh, almost intercepted by the defensive back, number 27.
Well, that was number 21, rather,
21.
Denny Touchette, intended for Bissessar on the play. And again, the Gales stall after getting in good position. And now Barrable will be attempting a field goal. And this should be quite a long field goal, intending that it's going into the wind.
Very long field goal indeed, Dan.
Well,
I think he might just punt it. No, he's going to kick it.
Well, it will be inside at about the 35-yard line, so if Barrable can get a good kick away, he should be able to put it through. It's just he's missed on a couple earlier.
Well, and it's down, kick, and looks like it's going to be short. It is short, And running it out is Ray Lalonde for the McGill Redmen. He gets to the 10-yard line, and that's about it. And Gale's calling for a fumble, but referee says the play was whistled dead, and the McGill Redmen will retain possession. Normally, a kick like that would be good for Bill Barable from the 35, but with the wind and the slippery conditions and everything else, it's been tricky for him to make those field goal attempts.
Well, it certainly has. That was right on line as it was right in the middle of the uprights, but it was just short, about 5-6 yards short. But the Gales will now try and hold the McGill Redmen inside their own 25-yard line here as it's 1st and 10 from McGill 7.
And now Crawford on a counter gives it to Deschamps, and Deschamps gets maybe 2 yards, not much more than that. Make that Andy Holman the running back. So it'll be 2nd and 8 yards to go. 1:23 left to play in the second quarter. 12-2, the Golden Gales are ahead. They could be ahead by a lot more, but Barable's just been 1 for 4 so far in the field goal kicking department, as weather and slippery conditions have given him some problems, as they have Richie Klimas, the other kicker, as well.
Well, McGill switching up backs as Holman comes out. Deschamps goes in. And a timeout on the field, I believe it's called by the Redmen as Crawford over talking with Charlie Bailey. The McGill head coach, Jim Jawakam, also listening in. He's the backup quarterback for the Redmen.
Well, Jamie Crawford, very good. I think they're just getting a few plays set here. There's only 1:23 left. He was very effective in the last 2 minutes of the half against the Concordia Stingers. He marched the ball right down, and Stingers were very impressed with that. And so I'm sure he got a few plays in a row from the coaches. And now he's calling out the cadence. Long count it is. Going back to throw now. He's got some pressure. Look out. Over the middle. Intended for Glenn Miller. Incomplete, and flags fly as interference is called on Mark Burley, and you got to question that one.
Well, I think Burley did have the intended receiver Everlay wrapped up on the play. It was a very close call, but it gives McGill a first down now with 1 minute and 18 seconds to go at the McGill 21-yard line. So it looked like the Gales might have been able to stop them there as Crawford was throwing under a great deal of pressure. But the pass interference penalty gives McGill a first down from their own 21-yard line.
And Crawford lining up over Steve Gedney, the center, calling out the signals. Fades back to throw. He's looking to his right and finds Glenn Miller. Incomplete. Good timing there by Rick Prinzen to provide the coverage for the Gales.
Well, Prinzen just getting a hand in to bat the ball away as Miller appeared to have the reception, and he would have had a first down, but Miller was able to knock the ball away.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10 from the 21-yard line. McGill Redmen deep in their own zone. They did get that one first down on the interference call to Mark Burley. And Crawford now lining up over the center. Gedney. Miller is in motion. And now Crawford going back to throw. He's got all kinds of pressure. Throws it deep down for Miller. Miller's got it. No, he doesn't. Incomplete as Ian Deacon managed to trip him up, and Miller lost the ball and didn't have control, so they'll rule that one incomplete, and that is a lucky break for the Gales as Miller was all the way down to the 40-yard line of the Golden Gales.
Well, Miller was showing good speed there, getting in behind Ian Deacon, and Deacon was able to tackle him and knock the ball away, and McGill will be forced to kick it away as Klimas will be standing at about his own 5-yard line. He's had problems with the last 2 snaps, which he has received on kicking downs.
And now a good snap this time. Klimas getting it away. A beautiful punt. And there McKinnon fields it at the 45. Going over the 50. Gets to almost center field. And there is a flag on the play, probably clipping. So that might put the Gales further back. Good punt by Richie Klimas. And also good snap that time by the center, Steve Gedney. Last time the snap was just a dribbling bounce, and Klimas had to run for the yardage and didn't make the first down. And a legal block it is on the Gales, and that'll put them in a hole. They'll be starting at their own 41-yard line.
Well, they're not really in a hole, but they would have had the ball in super field position at about the center field stripe, but pushing them back to the 41-yard line. That they still are quite a ways from their own end zone. Under a minute to play here. 56 seconds is the time on the clock. 12-2 is the score in favor of the Gales.
And O'Doherty carries the ball. He goes for about 2 yards, not much more than that. And so there's not much time left on the clock, 52 seconds. It'll be interesting to see what the Gales do here. I'm sure they'll have to put it up in the air.
Well, the Redmond defensive unit has called a timeout. And this gives their people a time to go and talk with their coaching staff as well. Bobby Wright going to the Gales bench. McGill, if they can come up big on defense here and hold the Gales and force a kick by Bill Barable, which into the wind probably would not go very far. McGill could put a drive together and maybe try and put 6 points on the board.
Well, the Gales up by a score of 12-2, and that coming on the touchdown from Wright to O'Doherty for 7 points with Barable's convert, and then Barable with a field goal for 3, and then 2 singles for another 2, and that's where the Gales got their 12 points, and McGill, of course, has retaliated with only 2 singles. So 12-2 with just 52 seconds left in the first half. And now the Gales with the ball. And it'll be second down and 8 yards.
2nd and 8 from the Gales' 44-yard line.
And they break the huddle. Stefopoulos coming over the ball. And Bissessar in motion again. He's going to the right along with O'Doherty. They're all going to the right, and Wright's going back to throw. He's got some pressure on him. Throws deep to Pendergast. Intercepted by Touchette. And that's a big play for the Redmen as the defensive halfback, Denny Touchette, comes up with the interception, and the McGill Redmen will have possession at their own 40-yard line with 45 seconds left to play.
Well, Bobby Wright just hung that ball up in the air, and Pendergast was in double coverage once again, and Touchette came down with the ball as Pendergast could not go up for it. So with 45 seconds to play on the clock here in the second quarter, the Gales leading by a score of 12-2, and McGill 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line.
And now Crawford calling out the cadence. And he's going back to throw. He's got some pressure. Throws down the sideline to Miller. Intercepted by Fenning. And Fenning carries it to the 40, the 35, the 30. Oh, he almost went all the way. Jeff Coyle, that is. And brings it right down to the 20-yard line. Jeff Coyle does. He came up with a big interception last week. And once again, a key interception there as it stops the McGill drive, and it gives Queens excellent field position at the McGill 21-yard line.
Well, there's a flag on the field, and I think this is going to come back. I don't know if the interception is going to count or not, but they're going to bring back the ball to the Gales territory here.
Well, the penalty is holding, Jim, against the Gales, but it was after the interception occurred. I believe that's what they're calling it, so it will be Gales first down, but the interception run back will be nullified, and the Gales will be 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line. So that big run back by Kyle has been nullified, but the Gales still have possession of the ball.
Jeff Kyle determined to score a touchdown for the Gales defense as he had an excellent opportunity last week and brought it back as close as he could to the 4-yard line on a great interception. And on this one makes a big yardage pickup too. Doesn't get it in the end zone, but it's all called back on the yards in any case. And 1st and 10 for the Gales from their 40 now. Nice interception by Kyle.
And now right over the ball. It's snowing heavily. And right, play action. Looking to throw over the middle. He's looking for Bissessar or Pendergast make that. And incomplete goes the play.
Well, I'm surprised that the Gales aren't just letting the clock run out here, as if they could use 3 downs and have the clock run out, but with that incomplete pass, that stops the clock at 27 seconds, and they could conceivably turn the ball back over to McGill with some time left on the clock if they do not pick up a first down here.
I'm sure Wright will make this a long count. And he's over the ball. And play action once again, rolls out to his left. He's going to run with it himself and doesn't get too much yardage. Gets about 6 yards, not much more than that. On the play, brings it over to the Gales' 47-yard line.
Well, the Redmen have called a timeout here with 20 seconds to play in the first half.
And that's a good point, Dan. I wonder why they didn't run down the clock a lot more. Of course, McGill can use a timeout to stop the clock like they're doing now, but still they would have ran off some more seconds on that clock.
Well, now Baraboo will be forced into a punting situation here as the Gales find themselves third down and about 4 from their own 46-yard line. And they may see quite a bit of pressure on Bill Baraboo here, as the last punt he had, I believe it was quite high, and he had trouble getting it away. He's standing at about his own 34-yard line.
Well, I'm surprised they're not going for the block here. They're setting up for the run back. You'd think they'd go for the block, try to get good field position. Anyway, there's the snap, and Baraboo fumbles it, and he makes a throw to Corrigan, and Corrigan doesn't get any yardage. He's just back to the original line of scrimmage. There's flags thrown. I believe it's because Corrigan's an illegal receiver. And Baraboo, it was a fine snap, and he just, the ball slipped through his hands, and he tried to make a pass there.
Well, once again, the Gales defensive unit, or their punting unit, has trouble with the snap there, and as a result, Baraboo had to throw it away. It went to Corrigan, and being an ineligible receiver, that is a penalty against the Gales. It's declined by McGill, and now with 12 seconds to play on the clock, the McGill Redmen get the ball back once again in Gales territory, and they'll be first down and 10 from the Queen's 44-yard line.
And Crawford over center. In motion is Deschamps and Sanham. Crawford back to throw. Lots of time. Pressure now by Kynock, and they've got him for a big loss beyond the center field stripe out about the McGill 53-yard line, and in there as well was Bodner.
There is a flag down on the play, which would have, in the area of the Gales defensive backfield. We'll have to see what that penalty is about, as referee talking with Gales defensive captain Phil Marsland, and I'm sure the Gales may decline that penalty if it is such, and force McGill into a big second down play.
And the McGill Redman is down on the field injured. Can't pick up his number from here.
Penalty was holding against McGill, and it's declined by the Gales, and that forces McGill into a second down and 22 situation.
Well, they have to go for all the marbles here.
Well, they may have been able to attempt a field goal at least to try and put some points on the board had they been able to move the ball in from the 44-yard line, but with 7 seconds on the clock, they may have time for 2 plays if they can make the first one a quick one.
Good pressure there by the Gales defensive unit. That time is sacking Jamie Crawford for a loss, and I believe that's the first sack of the game. Second sack of the game, rather. Ryland Coyne, our statistician, informs us.
Well, the McGill player is still down in the field right on the 50-yard line, and he's now moving into a sitting position at the moment, but he's
looks like Alain Deschamps.
And if it is, that would be a very severe loss to McGill.
He is their starting halfback.
Although they have quite capable running backs, halfbacks, in Sylvain Lemaire and Andy Holman. So we'll just have to see. Or rather, the injured player is number 45, rather. Glenn McDonald, the backup center.
And so far in this game, Crawford has not been very impressive passing. He's been 2 for 15 for 31 yards, and he's thrown 2 interceptions. So Crawford not having one of his better games so far. Of course, the weather's having some effect, but let's give some credit to the Gales defense.
No time on the clock, so this will be the last play of the first half.
And here comes Crawford. He's working out the signals. Miller in motion. Crawford just keeps it himself, tries the quarterback sneak. He's getting some yardage, but is finally tied up at the 43-yard line of the Gales. And so not much of a play there. Now a flag thrown, perhaps an unsportsmanlike penalty. And that
flag was thrown after the Crawford had been whistled down, so we'll just have to see who the penalty is against here and whether we will have another play, as Crawford just got back to the original line of scrimmage at the 44-yard line.
Can't end a quarter on a penalty. And it's to the McGill Redmen, and of course the Gales decline it, and they go into the dressing room with the halftime lead of 12-2.
Their coach about that first half, and they have a chance to go over what the defenses of both teams are doing and what the offenses of both teams are doing, and how they're going to run their offense against them. We've seen the Gales. The Gales coaching staff is brilliant at that, and they've done that over the years. They've come from behind, having picked out what happened in the first half and run against the weaknesses, and they've done an excellent job in that respect. And the McGill Redmen with Charlie Bailey as co-coach of the year with Doug Hargraves is going to be doing the same thing, and I'm sure he's decided how the McGill Redmen are going to try to run their offense against these Queens Golden Gales in the second half. There's no doubt this thing is certainly in no respect over. The Gales ahead by 12-2, but still 30 minutes of football to play here, and it's going to be a good one. I never knew that the Golden Gales had 2 sets of sweaters, as they came out here dressed all in clean sweaters here for this second half, and I bet that provides a little forewarning.
Yeah, it certainly would, Jim, as I was down at field level in halftime, and all the Gales are talking about going in and getting dry socks on. So they're all ready to go here in their clean uniforms and dry socks, and they'll be kicking it away. And here with the third quarter play-by-play is Richard Brower.
All right, Bravo kicks it down, taking at the 35. Redmond take it up to about the 45, and they're down there. Just under play here, 12-2 is the score. Gales ahead.
Well, Jamie Crawford still at quarterback for McGill. As I mentioned earlier, Jim Joachim had been warming up on the sideline, but he is not throwing a football any longer, so Crawford is in, and we'll see if McGill can come up with anything new on offense that we didn't see in the first half. 14:48 is the time to play here in the third quarter. The Gales leading 12-2.
Redmond from their own 45, motion left. Crawford going back, now moving right. He swings it out to the sideline. It's number 25, Alain Deschamps, and he has the first down just across the midfield stripe.
Well, we saw that play earlier in the game where Deschamps was wide open, no Gales near him. However, the ball was overthrown that time. And this time, however, they made the reception, and Jeff Kyle made the tackle on Deschamps after he picked up about 12 yards. So now McGill will be 1st and 10 from the Gales' 51-yard line.
Redmond coming right back out with the pass again, so it looks like they may be passing a lot this half, as that's the way their offense tends to move the ball. C.I.S keeps it himself on a sneak, and he's got lots of room. He's down to the 35. Another McGill first down. The Redmond moving the ball very well in this first couple of plays.
Well, Crawford keeping the ball himself. We saw that in the last play of the second quarter where he kept it himself and ran for about 10 yards, and he picked up another first down there, moving the ball in to the 35-yard line. So we may see some more of that, as the Gales not really exposed to much quarterback draws at all in the entire O-QIFC season. The snow has returned here to Richardson Stadium, and it's coming down quite briskly right in the face of the Gales. We should mention the Gales going into the wind in the third quarter will have the wind at their back for the fourth quarter.
Crawford again keeps it himself, only this time he gets nowhere, and there's a fumble, but McGill recovers it right back at the line of scrimmage. Number 40 recovering there, Steve Gedney for McGill Redmond. So it's now 2nd and 10 for the Redmond.
Well, that play, they try it twice in a row. Crawford just keeping it, and he got a number of yards on the first one and the first down, but that time Gales were too smart for him and almost did strip the ball out of his hands. McGill holding on to it. 13:20 remaining here, very early here in the third quarter, and the Gales up 12-2.
Well, Redmond probably looking for the pass this play. Miller in motion to the left. Okay, Crawford dropping straight back. He's looking for the pass. He hasn't got any room now. He's got to run this one. But the Gales pursuing him, and he's down again out into the sidelines, right back to the line of scrimmage. So the Redmen are now in a kicking situation.
Well, a flag down on the play in the Gales' backfield that may indicate holding against the McGill Redmen. We'll just have to wait and see what the official call is as talking to the Gales. And it appears to be, yes, that is the penalty. Holding against McGill. The Gales take the penalty, and this pushes McGill back, and they'll be 2nd down and 20 yards to go from their own 45-yard line. So rather than allowing them a field goal attempt on 3rd down there, they're going to make them go 2nd down over again from the 20-yard line. As Crawford scampered out of there quite quickly, but he did not able to turn it upfield, as Jeff Kyle getting out there, Mike Shadd as well, to put the hit on him.
Well, Gale's probably making a wise choice. The Redmen do have the wind with them, so now it's 2nd and 20 for the Redmen from the Gale's 45-yard line. Backs in motion, Crawford again back to pass, but he's got Marsland on him, but he drops it out up the middle. Gale's all over them. Appeared to be number 33, Mike Sandham, picking up a little screen pass there up the middle.
The Gale's getting a lot of defensive pursuit in there, as they were in there on the play before that, and that made Crawford scramble out of there and lose some yardage. And then on that one, a lot of pressure makes him throw it to Sandham. Sandham right in the middle of all the Gale's defenders there. Couldn't make many yards after making the reception.
Well,
So third down will come up.
Sorry there, Jim. Number 40, Steve Gedney, was right standing beside Sandham, and he almost made an attempt to go after the ball. But had he done that, of course, he being the center on the line is ineligible to receive the ball on a pass to the quarterback. So he wisely let it go to Sandham, but Sandham only picked up about 2 yards short of the first down, and now McGill kicking it away.
Klein is kicking it down. It's into the Gale's end zone, and Corrigan will concede the point. So at exactly 12 minutes to go, the score is now moved to 12-3 for the Queens Golden Gales, and the Gales will now be scrimmaging the ball from their 10-yard line.
Well, no, they'll be from the 35.
Excuse me.
Well, exactly 12 minutes on the board here in the third quarter, and the McGill Redmen get one more point, making it 12-3. The points from the Gales, of course, 6 or 7 of them coming from O'Doherty's touchdown. And the convert after that, and then Barable also picking up the other 5 with a field goal and 2 singles.
Okay, right pitch is out to Sterling. Sterling cuts across into the middle and gets a good gain as he's got a first down and about a yard more. Good pickup by Scott Sterling to move it up to the 46-yard line.
Well, Coach Hargraves is saying that Scott Sterling, one of their premier runners in the Gales and one of the premier runners in the league, and that time you saw him cut back against the grain and pick up enough for the first down, and he did that against Carleton last week as well.
Indeed.
So Sterling very well at running one direction, stopping, and cutting back the other. So the Gales using that weapon very effectively.
Okay, Gales 1st and 10 from their own 46. Another pitch to Sterling. This time he doesn't get anywhere, just picks up a yard or two as McGill Redmen waiting for him there at the line of scrimmage. That play not nearly as successful as the play previously.
Well, difficult to change direction, I think, as Sterling was trying to do on that field in the mud, and not being able to get the footing necessary to make that change of direction move. He slipped it, fell, and the McGill Redmen were all over him. So the Gales now 2nd down and a little over 9 yards to go.
Okay, here come the Gales in their shiny second half sweaters. Bissessar out wide to the right, backs in motion. It's right up the middle to Bergeron, and he's just a couple short of the first down. He's up close to the midfield stripe.
Well, the draw play almost worked that time to Ted Bergeron as he picked up about 6 on the play as he moved the ball up, and now it will be 3rd down and 2 for the Queens Golden Gales. And that brings Bill Barable on the field in a punting situation. The Gales are 3rd down and 2 from their own 54-yard line.
Okay, Barable back at about his own 40-yard line. He'll be kicking this one into the wind, needing a good kick here to get the Redmen into their own zone. It's a good snap this time, and Barable unfortunately makes a bad kick, and he kicks it out of bounds, and the Redmen will take over at about their own 45, but there is a flag down on the play. We'll have to wait and see what the call is.
The penalty appears to be holding against the Gales as one of the up backs, McKinnon or O'Doherty, is guilty of holding against one of the onrushing McGill Redmen. That's the penalty. It's declined by the Redmen, and they'll be 1st down and 10 from their own 46-yard line as Barable did not get a good kick away at all.
Well, the stick's barely moving there, and now the Redmen will be taking over from about their own 46-yard line. 12-3 is the score, 10-20 left to play in this third quarter. We've got Falcone out and Lalonde out the other side. Miller in motion, and backs in motion now, and here's the handoff to Deschamps, but he gets nowhere as he's hit right just a couple yards past the line of scrimmage. Or excuse me, Sylvain Lemaire. Andy Holman. Correct myself again. I'll get that right, Dan.
Well, 23 Andy Holman was submarined that time by Big Mike Shadd, who knocked him after a pickup of about 2 yards. So now McGill in a passing down as they're now 2nd and 8 9:40 remaining here in the third quarter. 12-3 is the score in favor of the Queen's University Golden Gales.
Early movement by the Gales. There's a flag down, but Crawford's back to pass. Down into the sidelines to Miller, but he's overthrown.
Well, once again, I think number 50 of the Golden Gales, Gary Kynock, jumped offside on that play as he was not able to get back. And that will make a 5-yard penalty, so that'll mean that McGill will be now second down and 3 from their own 54-yard line, 53-yard line, make it.
Well, the penalty is called. It's offside against the Gales, so now it's about 2nd and 4 for the Redmen from their own 53-yard line, make that. That penalty helping the Redmen as they had an incomplete pass play before, but now Redmen in good shape, 2nd and 4. Straight up the middle, it's Holman again, or rather, excuse me, Mike Sandham, and he picks up the first down as he gets across the center field stripe and into the Gales' 50-yard line.
Well, a big play there by Sandham to pick up the first down as Joe Valente making the tackle on him, and now they're inside the Gales' 50 at the 49-yard line where they're 1st and 10 with just over 9 minutes to play here. Crawford engineering a drive here for the Redmen. He was very ineffective in the first half of play. And we'll see what he can do in the second half here.
Okay, 1st and 10 just inside the 50. The pitch now outside. Lots of yards, but lots of penalties too, as number 25, Elaine Deschamps, gets down into the Gales territory deep into about the 36-yard line.
Well, penalty flags flying there, and it appears to be holding against the McGill Redmen is the early indication. So as Deschamps was close to picking up a first down there, I'm sure it will go for naught, as the Gales will accept the penalty and push the Redmen back. Once again, to make it first down repeated with 20 yards to go.
Holding against McGill. This brings the ball back to the Redmen's territory, back to their own 51-yard line, 1st and 20. Snow not flying so thickly here anymore, but it's been going off and on all day. Certainly a miserable day for football.
And another flag down, as I believe maybe time count, as the line umpire coming over to talk with the backfield referee. And we'll just have to see what that penalty was about, as officials are conferring now and moving in to find out what the play is are the Golden Gales. And unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against McGill, and that pushes them back another 10 yards. So now make it 1st down and 30 yards to go from their own 41-yard line.
Well, one of the coaches on the bench said something that the referees did not like, and that's why that penalty happened. And that's a costly penalty. You can't afford to take penalties like that. And now it's the Redmen have a 1st and 28-yard situation.
Well, 1st and long yards indeed, as Redmen now pitch out, but it's going to be the halfback option. Deschamps throws it out to Crawford. Crawford's scrambling down the sidelines. He's picking up a number of yards as he gets across the center field mark and into the Gales territory about the 52-yard line.
Well, picking up about 18 yards on that play was Jamie Crawford on the halfback pitch out to Elaine Deschamps. Deschamps passing it back to Crawford, who made a good one-handed catch on the play, but then he had to pay for it as Norm Fenning and Joe Valente unloaded on him as they tackled him down.
Well, that's a rare play. It's razzle-dazzle there. You don't usually see your quarterback as a receiver. Last time I saw that was in the Grey Cup game against Calgary, Montreal and Calgary in '70.
I remember that one. Boy, was I mad when that happened.
2nd and 14 now for McGill.
Okay, here we are, 2nd and 14. Crawford again back to pass. He's dropping straight back, looking long. Yeah, Druckmann open, but he goes to Miller and he underthrows him. So now the Redmen's drive is virtually dead.
Well, Ian Deacon right step for step with Glenn Miller that time. And the ball thrown short, as Richard mentioned, and Miller trying to cut back for it, slipped on the play. So with 7 minutes and 32 seconds to play here in the third quarter, the Gales leading by a score of 12-3. Richie Klimas will be kicking it away, as penalties hurt the McGill Redmen on this drive, as they were all the way inside the Gales 40-yard line. but penalties hurt them, and they were forced to go back.
Okay, Klimas at about his own 43, a high snap, but he holds on and gets the kick away with the wind, a low one. Coming down, it's bouncing. Jamie McKinnon, the OQ leader in pass returns, but not this time as he gets nowhere, and he's tackled down at about his own 7-yard line, so the Gales will be taking possession deep in their own end.
Well, no pressure that time on Klimas, as had the Gales been able to get in there. He had trouble with the high snap, but no Gales coming close. And as a result, McKinnon let the ball bounce, and he fielded at about his own 5 and got it up to the 6-yard line. And now the Gales will be taking over there.
Okay, only 1 point so far scored in this third quarter. Gales now 1st and 10 on their own 7-yard line. Wright hands it off to O'Doherty going around the right-hand side. He picks up about 5 yards as he gets up to the 12-yard line.
Well, Ross O'Doherty looking for a seam to turn it upfield as he went out on the right sweep that time, but he could not find a hole to go up through, but he picked up 5 yards on the play. And now make it 2nd and 5 for the Gales, as they need a big play here, as if Bearable had to come in and kick it, he would be kicking from deep in his own zone and into the wind.
Okay, a big play here for the Gales, looking for that first down. It's a pitch out to Sterling. This time he goes outside. He's got the first down, it appears, or no, rather he's short of it.
Well, only picking up about 3 yards on the play was Sterling as he got over the 15-yard line to the 16. And the first down marker is at about the 18-yard line, so a couple of yards short for the Gales. So Bearable here will be forced to kick it away, and he'll be standing in the area of inside his own 5-yard line, and the receivers for McGill are all on Gale's side of the field. The deepest one is number 39, Falcone, who's standing at the Gales' 45-yard line.
Well, indeed, Redmond looking for good position as Bearable is kicking against the wind. Bearable runs back on the snap, though, and concedes a single point. He's still got the ball in the end zone. Finally, he runs out of bounds.
Well, a safety touch there for the Gales, so Bearable giving up 2 points on the play there with 5 minutes and 41 seconds to play here in the third quarter. So now the Gales will be kicking the ball away from, I believe, their own 35-yard line, as rather than kicking from deep in their own zone and giving McGill good field position, Bearable will kick it away from his own 35-yard line. So that makes the score the McGill-Redmond 5 and the Queens Golden Gales 12. So the Gales pay 2 points there and pick up about 30 yards of real estate.
Well, Gales obviously afraid of McGill getting into good position for the touchdown, as the touchdown would move the Gales would move the Redmond rather quite close to the Gales. So now electing to kick off from their own 35 and give the McGill-Redmond possession perhaps in their own territory. Okay, Bearable set to kick, and he puts it up. Kick against the wind. Falcone has it on his own 30 up to the 40, 45. He's got room. He's going way out across the other side now. Corrigan gets a hold of him, and he's taken down at about the 52-yard line. So McGill-Redmond still inside their own territory, not getting as good position as they would have on the punt.
Well, that's right, Richard. Good decision there by the Gales coaching staff to elect to give up the safety touches. That did not change the score that much. McGill now needs a converted touchdown to tie the Gales, but still lots of time left. So rather than, they are going to make McGill work for their touchdown here, as McGill 1st and 10 from their own 51-yard line, rather than having them be first down inside the Gales territory.
Okay, backs in motion to the left hand. Crawford goes out and moves left. He's under pursuit, though, and he's down as number 51, Kynock, is all over him, and that's a big sack as Crawford is all the way back to his own 36-yard line.
Well, Kynock and Joe Valente getting in there to put the hit on Jamie Crawford for a big loss. And I keep remembering back to what Doug Hargraves was saying, that, Crawford, if you get some pressure on him, he's just like an ordinary quarterback, and that's what he looks like here with Gales in his face all day. He's not very effective as a passer. 4 minutes and 44 seconds to play in the third quarter. The Gales leading by a score of 12-5, and it's 2nd down and 25 for McGill.
Well, indeed, 2nd and 25 it is, and the Redmond are now in a tough situation. Crawford going back to pass. He throws it down to the sidelines, but a terrible pass going to number 19, Evele, but nowhere near him. So now the Redmen are forced into a punting situation from inside their own territory, about their own 38-yard line.
Well, the Gales defense is getting to them as Crawford that time sprinted out without even having to, I think, and threw the ball quickly on the run, although he didn't have as much pressure on that play as before.
Well, Richie Klimas now standing inside his own 25 at about the 22-yard line. He'll be kicking it away, and he had a high snap last time, but the Gales didn't get any pressure.
Good snap this time. Klimas lots of time, gets a good kick away, a very good kick, and McKinnon backpedals back to the 25, moving down the left-hand side. He's up to the 35 where he's cut down there. So Gales will be first and 10 from about their own 35-yard line. 3:57 left in this opening quarter of the second half, and it's 12-5 for the Queens Golden Gales.
Well, once again on the sideline, Jim Jawaka, he was just talking on the phone with the spotters upstairs, and he is now warming up on the sideline. He too is a southpaw quarterback, and he is the backup quarterback for the Redmen. Gales now first and 10 from their own 35-yard line.
Okay, up the middle to Bergeron, but he gets just a couple as he's wrapped up very early in the play.
Getting in there to wrap up Bergeron was Philip Sakati, as number 77, the inside linebacker, wrapped up Bergeron, who hasn't had that much running today. Scott Sterling being the workhorse for the Gales in that department, but Bergeron providing very good blocking for Bobby Wright in the passing situations.
Okay, make it second and about 7 for the Gales from their own 37-yard line. Right back to pass off the play action. He's got Pendergast up at the center field stripe. Pendergast picking up the first down for the Gales.
Well, Steve Bailey right there to wrap up Jim Pendergast along with Luke Menard, but not before he had picked up the first down right at the center field stripe. So the Gales offense is alive here as their defense has held McGill scoreless, or not giving up a major score to McGill.
Pendergast having a very good season for the Gales. As earlier in the season, he was their leading scorer in the first couple of games against Carleton. Pendergast really coming into his own this year. Okay, right again, back to pass. He's going down the sideline to Bissessar. Bissessar's got it. He's down at the McGill 45, 40. He's got lots of room down and out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. They mark at the 35, so Gales moving the ball here now very well.
Well, Scott Bissessar showing his speed as he was going up against linebacker number 34, Vince Colazaya, at the far side of the field, and Bissessar put a move on him and then just blew right past him as he had no attempt there. Bissessar 57 yards on receptions today, and he's moved the Gales in good field position to their own 35-yard line. That's his third reception of the afternoon, and under 2.5 minutes to play here, the Gales leading McGill 12-5, and the Gales are threatening.
Okay, Bissessar in movement left, but it's straight up the middle to Bergeron again, but he picks up not too many a gain and make it 3 or 4 yard gain.
Well, what the Gales are doing with that running is just offsetting the passing threat by Bobby Wright, as he has had much more success today than Jamie Crawford, his counterpart on the McGill side, has. So the Gales offsetting their passing with some running, and they broke a couple of big running plays earlier in the game.
Well, make it only about a 2 yard gain. It's now 2nd and 8 from the McGill Redmond 33. Play action. Oh, Bobby Wright back, and he's hammered down at about the 41-yard line. So Redmond picking up a sack there, jubilant, as that will force the Gales now into a kicking situation against this wind.
Well, getting in there quickly was number 34, Vince Colazaya, and everybody in the stadium saw him coming except for Bobby Wright as he came from his blind side. Luckily, Bobby Wright was able to hold on to the ball. And now Bill Barable, as the Gales are now 3rd and 15 rather, will be standing back in the area of the McGill 50-yard line to kick the ball away. Minute and 33 seconds to play here in the third quarter. 12-5 is the score, and don't go away. Stay tuned for the fourth quarter, as I'm sure it will be very exciting.
Okay, Gales forced a punt. Barable with good time. Wobbles in the wind as that wind is holding the ball back, and here's Lalonde. He picks it at about the 25-yard line, but he's hit and knocked out of bounds at about the 30.
Good containment there by Jim Pendergast along with George Jackson to make the hit on Lalonde. And now McGill Redmond taking over on offense. And coming in at quarterback is number 15, Jim Jawakam. He's the backup to Crawford. Joachim was the starting quarterback last year, and he was relegated to backup duties when Crawford came along from University of Alberta. And now Joachim is in to run the controls now. A minute left now in the third quarter.
Okay, Joachim in there with his shiny sweater. He hasn't seen any action so far. He goes back to pass a wobbler, and I'm not sure who he was intending that one for, but it was near nobody. Perhaps number 25, Alain Deschamps, but he was well covered.
Well, Alain Deschamps had slipped down in the play. Also in the area was number 70, Miles Druckmann. And Druckmann not seeing much action today in the reception department. 53 seconds to play now, as Druckmann has 0 receptions, as our statistician Ryland Coyne points out to me here.
Okay, with the incompleted pass, it's now 2nd and 10 from the 30-yard line. Everybody in motion left, but Joachim goes to the right. He's blocked down there by Rick Prinzen as the pass was going to number 20, Ray Lalonde, and that will negate the McGill's offensive drive, and it's now 3rd and 10, and the McGill Redmen forced into a punting situation.
Well, 2 straight passing plays there by Joachim, both going incomplete. The first one intended for Druckmann, the second one for Lalonde, and the second one almost picked off there by Rick Prinzen. And now McGill will be kicking it away. Klimas standing at his own 15-yard line. He's had some boomers away today, but only because he's had the wind at his back. And McKinnon standing at his own 35-yard line for Queens.
Okay, the kick is up, and it's angling out of bounds to the sidelines, but it may stay in. McKinnon fumbles the ball, and he's going back to his own 15, where he just drops on the ball, and the Gales not getting good return there, as that ball has moved a number of yards, and Gales now deep in their own end.
Well, McKinnon and the rest of the Gales having problems fielding that ball coming down, as it is being blown by the wind. And McKinnon touched the ball about his own 30-yard line, and it slipped through his hands, and it skidded back into the area of the Gales 15. McKinnon wisely did not try and pick it up and run with it. He just dropped on it and was marked down inside the Gales 15 at the 13-yard line. So the Gales starting deep in their own territory here with no time showing on the clock in the third quarter, as this will be the last play of the third quarter, barring a penalty.
From their own 14, Wright hands it off to O'Doherty. O'Doherty not getting much room.
Well, good second effort there by Ross O'Doherty. He picked up about 8 yards as he appeared to be marked down, and that's the end of the third quarter. And we'll be right back with the fourth quarter action right after this break.
Programming for all segments of the community, we're CableNet 13, Kingston's television alternative.
The Queens Golden Gales have just picked up close to a first down on the run by Ross O'Doherty, and leading by a score of 12-5 are the Gales. They're deep in their own zone, and now starting the fourth quarter here is our sports director emeritus Jim Everson with the play-by-play.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Only one converted touchdown separating these two teams, and McGill with a new quarterback could be sparked into doing something here. The game will still very exciting, and the Gales giving off to Sterling on the first offensive play of the fourth quarter, and Sterling has the first down and moves to 6 for the Golden Gales. Nothing has happened of very much excitement here in the second half so far, but only one touchdown will separate these two teams, and McGill just happens to put it in the end zone. Then this will be an entirely different ball game. Both teams having trouble picking up big yardage here in the second half as the field continues to get muddier and the ball in turn harder to handle. First down and 10 for the Gales from their own 27-yard line. Very early in the fourth quarter here, and the give is to Bergeron off the middle, and Ted Bergeron gets only a couple of yards. Gales up 12-5 on the touchdown by O'Doherty in the second quarter. A 54-yard pass and run play from Wright got the 7 points, and then Barabel has been responsible for all the rest for the Gales. And the Redmond points all coming on singles and conceded safety touches. Okay, the Wright on second down, back to pass, and that's incomplete. The intended receiver was Bissessar, and it was thrown too short for Bissessar to be able to handle it, and the Gales will be punting the ball.
making wholesale changes here. For the Gales, they're deep in their own zone at about the 27-yard line.
Okay, Barberville will be kicking from his own 20. And just awaiting the snap here. It's down into the dirt. Barberville picks it up and gets a punt away, coming down here to the 35-yard line, and it's going to roll out of bounds there before Menard has a chance to run it back for the Redmen.
Oh, he couldn't get a better bounce there on that kick, as it didn't go very far initially, but it bounced for another 15, 20 yards. So the McGill Redmen not having a chance to return that ball will start from their own 33-yard line, and they're going against the wind now. 13-18 left to play in the game. Redmen trail 12-5. There's not too much offense as far as scoring goes has happened so far in the game.
Okay, Joachim on his first possession in there, quarterback for the Redmen, wasn't able to make this team spark to any great offense, and we'll see on their second possession if they can do so. They give to Sanham, he drops the ball, the Gales have it. Oh, just as we wonder if Joachim is going to be able to do something in there, he gives off to Mike Sanham, and Sanham just spits it right up, and a Gales defender comes up with the ball. I'm not sure who picked it up, but it may be Mike Shad in the middle there who made the fumble recovery. I think that may be a result of the fact that Joachim in there is a new quarterback, a little more inexperienced at that position, and Mike Sanham, who's been used to working with Crawford, just a little miscue between him and Joachim results in the fumble. In any case, the Gales have the ball in good field position at the 37-yard line. Right in there, the flip out to Sterling. Sterling to the left-hand side, and he picks up 3 yards there.
So once again, the defense comes up with the big play to give the offense another chance to put some points on the board, as turnovers have played a big part in this game, and they did so last week against Carleton as well.
Okay, if the Gales could put some points on the board here, they could separate this by more than just one touchdown, and that could be out of the reach of the McGill Redmen in the fourth quarter here. 2nd down and 6. All the motion to the right back to pass. Throwing out here for Vissasar, and again, just not far enough for Vissasar to make the catch at the 25-yard line.
Well,
the Gales will have to punt the ball here on 3rd down.
Sorry, Jim. Wright was hit just as he released that ball, and I think that's why it was slightly underthrown. Vissasar was open, and unfortunate for the Gales that they couldn't complete that pass.
Well, the ball will be scrimmaged at the 32-yard line, and Bowerville will be trying the field goal from the 40. He has the wind at his back. The snow has all but stopped here. I think it's pretty well no precipitation coming down here now, so it's clear, but the field is wet. See if Bowerville can do it from the 40. He gets it up, and it's good. A good field goal from the 40-yard line for Bowerville, and that makes the score 15-5 for the Golden Gales. They're out ahead by 10 points here in the fourth quarter. Bowerville proving to be very key for the Gales in this one.
Oh, Bowerville there, showing why he's the all-star kicker in the O-QIFC, as he had no problems putting that one through from the 40. Of course, did have a strong wind at his back, but let's remember it's a wet ball. And so, with 11:40 left to play here in the game, the Gales go ahead 15-5, and that's a key field goal there, as now the Redmen will need more than a touchdown if they want to win this game.
Okay, they'll need 10 points to tie. Joachim rolling out of there to throw, and looking long, and intercepted and dropped, and it's incomplete. Corrigan had it almost intercepted, but then when he fell to the ground, he released the ball, and the referee calls it incomplete pass. Oh, just about an interception for Corrigan there, as the McGill Redmen turned over the fumble, which cost them a field goal against them, and then almost turned over an interception there to John Corrigan. They still retain possession of the ball, 2nd down and 10 at their own 35-yard line.
Indeed, a close call there, as Corrigan appeared to have that quite easily, but another near miss for John Corrigan, as he's had many so far this year, but of course he still is the Gales' leading interceptor.
Okay, from the 35, second and 10 with 11 minutes exactly showing on the clock here in the fourth quarter. Joaka back to pass again. This time feels some pressure and throws it out here to Lemaire. And Lemaire is incomplete. As on the little screen pass, he just couldn't come up with the catch.
Well, no excuse there for Lemaire, as he had lots of running room and the pass was well thrown. He just couldn't hang on to it. I guess he was thinking run before he even had control of the ball. And that's a tough break for the Redmen, as it'll be third down, and that forces them into a punting situation here.
Well, the Redmen will be running out of time shortly here, as they can't seem to get the offense going. And it'll be Klamath punting the ball now from his own 25-yard line. Had a lot of trouble with snaps today, but this one is good, and Klamath gets the punt away, end over end, and not a long punt. Fenning will take it at the center field stripe. Instead, he just lets it roll out of bounds, and the Gales will field it from the center field stripe. And again, good field position for the Golden Gales.
Well, smart play there by Norm Fenning. He didn't want to risk a fumble or anything. The ball's slippery, so didn't see that he'd make much yardage if he picked it up, as there's a crowd of McGill Redmen within the 5-yard restraining zone, so he just let it roll out of bounds. And the Gales do enjoy good field position there at the center field stripe, and they have a strong wind going behind them, and they also have a 10-point lead again over the McGill Redmen.
Okay, from just the McGill side of the center field stripe, right, gets it off, no fakes to Sterling, now goes to the air, and it's good to Larson. Nice reception by John Larson for the first down. The ball moves down to a 43-yard line.
Well, Larson, that's his second great catch in heavy traffic, as again, he was hit hard, but he hung on to that ball for the first down reception.
Well, Larson's second catch for 26 yards in this game, and as you say, both of them good for first down. And this one moves the ball down to the 43-yard line.
So the Gales starting a drive here, and they're really picking up the crowd, as most people are on their feet on the far side. I was out there before, and gotta hand it to the crowd out here. Boy, they're braving freezing temperatures and a very brisk wind.
Those people have been standing the whole game long. It's so cold, you can't afford to sit down, and you see, of course, to get soaking wet if you do as well. The bench is on the other side there. A good number of Gales fans, despite the fact that they may be called upon to come out in huge numbers next week for a Toronto or McMaster invasion, and of course also in the middle of midterms and so on here at Queen's University. Still 16-7, McMaster over Toronto, we understand, as a scoreless third period has resulted at Varsity Stadium. So Toronto still having trouble with the McMaster Marauders, and it looks like that one's turning into a defensive squabble as well. 16-7. And Mac may be the team that comes to play Gales if they win here at Richardson. Okay, Wright gives it off to O'Doherty. O'Doherty trying the right-hand side. He's got the first down and lots of room to the 20-yard line. O'Doherty still on his feet down to the 15. Oh, big play for the Golden Gales.
Ross O'Doherty certainly showing what an exciting runner he can be, as Bob Wright faked and then handed off to O'Doherty going the other way, and he runs right around the right-hand side and dipsy doodles all the way down to the 15-yard line. Boy, he's gotten some big gains for the Gales the last few games.
Well, O'Doherty, sorry, Jim, doesn't have much straight-ahead speed. Well, he does have straight-ahead speed, but he's really known for his quick cuts, as he's very good at turning against the grain, and he showed it there as he deked a couple of McGill defenders.
Nice deception plays by the Golden Gales there, as it looked like he was going to go back and pass and then hand it off to O'Doherty just running behind the line.
Well executed.
Okay, first and 10 now from the 16-yard line, right back to pass again. He's got Bissessar on the 5. Bissessar's got it to the 2-3-yard line, and nothing doing after that, but Bissessar gets it down to within the 5-yard line. They'll spot it at about the 4, and that's good for a first down. The Gales will have 3 attempts here.
Well, the offense has come to life here in the fourth quarter, and they're just putting together an impressive drive, and Scott Bissessar perhaps having his best game of the season. That is his 4th catch, I believe, for 70 yards. So he's been one of the big receivers today for the Gales.
Well, the Gales could really put the game away here with a touchdown. At the 4-yard line, first and goal, the gift to Sterling. Touchdown, Gales! Scott Sterling from the 4-yard line, and the Gales are up 21-5 with 9 minutes remaining in the O-QIFC final.
Looking more and more like the Gales are marching close to the College Bowl. Sterling just going around the outside on the left-hand side there and just waltzing into the end zone. Nobody laid much of a hand on him, as he was not tackled when he got in the end zone. An easy play for the Gales. That puts them up 21-5. with a convert, 22-5, and well out of front of McGill Redmond with 9:05 left in this game.
Okay, Baraboo will be attempting the convert here, and the 22nd point for the Gales.
McGill Redmond did block a convert against Concordia. Let's see what they do here. Baraboo
Okay, the ball is down, and Baraboo gets it up, and it's good. 22-5 for the Golden Gales. And well out in front in the O-QIFC semifinal here. The Gales are looking to go away with this one and then to host the playoff bowl, as I understand it's being billed, as the OUAA teams will come and play at the home of the O-QIFC winning team. As we said, the Gales up on top 22-5 in the OUAA. McMaster Marauders leading the Toronto Blues at Varsity Stadium by a score of 16-7.
And I'm sure weather is playing a factor in that game too, as both of those teams are quite high-scoring teams.
Still 9 minutes on the clock here in the fourth quarter of this one. And the McGill Redmond, who haven't been able to put anything of promise together offensively here, do have some time to work away at the Gales defense here. And Baraboo now taking the ball off from his own 45, gets it down here to the 30-yard line, and it's Menard taking it there, gets it to the 40. And the McGill Redmond will scrimmage it from their own 40-yard line.
Oh, a very short kick there by Baraboo. He has the wind coming from the north end at his back, and rather surprising that it was that short. 9 minutes even on the clock. The Gales leading by 17. 22-5 is the score, but lots of time left here. So far, Jim Joachim has been 0 for 4 in the passing department. Let's see what he can do in this series.
Well, still in there, QB for the Redmond. And taking it 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line. Here goes the 5th pass, and that one's incomplete. The intended receiver is Glenn Miller. Right, he dropped it on a bit of a screen pass there and couldn't pick it up. I think that ball was pretty slippery out there for these guys.
Might have been the best thing for Miller to drop that one, as Kyle had him all lined up and would have put quite a hit on him. Kyle, of course, one of the more ferocious hitters of the Gales.
Well, that makes Joachim 0 for 5 here as he's come in exclusively here in the fourth quarter. He did get a couple plays off in the third quarter and left in the fourth quarter here. 8:24 showing on the clock. The Gales up 22-5, and you hear the crowd on the other side saying, hey, hey, goodbye to the McGill Redmond. Still time on the board, and Joachim with it himself, and he carries it himself but gets no yard.
Looks like it might be ruled a fumble. I'm not sure. No, I don't believe it is.
I think what happened there is Joachim thought he wasn't down, but I think he was sufficiently down by Dave Dakers there as they ruled that he shouldn't be hit any further. His forward progress had been impeded, and they blew the whistle so as not to have Joachim injured on the play, and so he didn't get any forward progress, although he was still on his feet there. So 3rd down, and the McGill Redmond in the hole, 3rd and 13, and will be punting the ball. Columbus will punt it from his own 25-yard line. The Gales once again should have good field position here. Snap is good, and Climans gets it away. Coming down at the Gales' 50-yard line and rolling out of bounds.
Almost a repeat of the last McGill punt in this quarter, as Norm Fenning just chasing it along the sidelines there, and it goes out of bounds again. Klimas not getting a very good kick away that time, as indeed he didn't last time, trying to keep it low against the wind, but not getting good movement on the ball as it's going end over end, and of course not going for many yards.
Well, that wind is really playing a factor in this game so far, Richard, as the kicking game has been quite affected by it.
Hey, 1st and 10 for the Gales, and time to run some time off the clock here. They give to O'Doherty. O'Doherty a couple of yards at the middle there, and up going. Gets it to the 50-yard line. Gales have the opportunity to use up some time on the clock now here on an offensive possession of some length. If I were the McGill Redmond, I think I'd seriously consider putting Crawford back in there. Joachim's been completely ineffective, and when you've only got 1 quarter left of football this season, you want to go with your best, I would think. Joachim's thrown a near interception to John Corrigan and also fumbled the ball to Mike Sanham there. And 0 for 5 in passing. I think I'd think about putting the old guy back.
I do question that because Joachim is pretty well the same quarterback, unlike Wright and Harrison, who are different.
Wright throwing to Bergeron. Bergeron gets it to the McGill 50, and that's a 1st down for the Golden Gales.
First down again. Gale's moving that ball, and of course we'll have now an opportunity to eat up more of the clock, and as you hear the fans below yelling, the party's nearly over. 6:48 left to play, 22-5 is the score.
Well, a Golden Gales fan, a Meredith supporter there, undoubtedly.
Some very loyal fans here in the alumni side.
Okay, 1st and 10 for the Gales from McGill positioning now from the 49-yard line of the Redmond. The give to Sterling. Sterling off tackle to the right, gets it to the 45, a pickup of 4 yards.
Well, good tackle there by the linebacker, Philip C.I.A.U, as Sterling would have had lots of room had he broken that tackle, but C.I.A.U managed to hang tough and bring him down.
Sterling so far 13 carries for 70 yards in this game. Holding his own out there for the Golden Gales. And of course Sterling has a touchdown in this game also, his 5th and 3rd in playoffs. The flip by right out to Sterling again, and Sterling's got to the 39-yard line, and that will be close to first down territory, but I think they may be 3rd down here.
And the fans are yelling, go for it, as the Gales are up by 17 points with 5:45. Looks like about 3/4 of a yard to a yard to go, and everybody's going go. And with the ball on the McGill 40, you'd think they might go for it.
Well, no doubt if you took a vote of the fans here, you'd go for it.
I think it'd be unanimous.
Everybody wants the Gales to try it. 3rd down and about a foot to go. And Bobby Wright is calling for a measurement and for the sticks to be brought out here and give them just an absolute indication of how far they have to go for first down. 5 minutes and 45 seconds showing in this the O-QIFC final. And the Gales up 22-5. They have the ball at the Redmond 39-yard line, and they have about 6 inches to go for 3rd down there.
Well, I would imagine they'd go for it here. All Bobby Wright has to do is just sort of lean forward and go behind the momentum of Tom Stefopoulos, who's just been outstanding at center for the Gales.
I'm sure that's what they've got in mind, Mark, as the kicking team has not come onto the field, and the Gales are huddling with the regular offense, and now here they come up with 3rd and just a few inches to go.
This could be the play of the game right here.
Okay, 3rd down. Wright just holds onto it himself on the quarterback keep, and it is a first down for the Golden Gales. So Queens holds onto the ball and gets the first down, and this, of course, is a big play as the Gales are trying their best to eat up all the time that's remaining on the clock here. It's stopped now with McGill injury, injured player down for the McGill Redmond, and while the clock is stopped at 5:33 showing on the board.
Don Burns, the defensive end, right defensive end for the McGill Redmond, he's down and appears to be shaken up. Not quite sure the extent of the injury.
Well, Burns with a reoccurring injury, as he was shaken up a little bit earlier in this game also.
Another injury that Redmond have had throughout this game is Rob Karras, their all-star tackle, and he's had a very bad knee, and the coaching staff said that he's quite a brave fellow playing in this game with the way the condition of his knee is. Okay, the Gales out in front 22-5, and Peter Harrison makes his debut in this game as he will be quarterbacking for the Golden Gales. And Pete Harrison adds a whole new dimension to that offense because he runs the ball so well. Not quite the arm that Bobby Wright has.
Also Connie Mandela out there.
Okay, Harrison gives it to Sterling. Sterling trying the left side. He's got lots of room. Sterling will have the first down and down to the 20-yard line to the almost the 15-yard line. Out of bounds at about the 18. A great pickup for Sterling. Somebody missed their call on the other side for the McGill Redmond that time.
Well, Gale's looking far and away like they're going to be in that playoff bowl as that moves them down to, if not touchdown territory, certainly a field goal territory, and that would move it up to a 25-5, 20-point spread with only about 5 minutes left to play. The McGill Redmond are really in deep trouble here as they have little chance of coming back on this one.
Okay, with Peter Harrison at the controls, 1st and 10 to give to Sterling again off tackle to the left, and Sterling's got 3 yards there. Well, Sterling just cracked the 100-yard mark there as he's right even 100 yards on 16 carries. And the play before that was Sterling's longest carry of the game. It was a 21-yarder on that sweep. And the wind is really even affecting the officials as one of the
lost their cap and it flew down the field about 10 yards.
Okay, the Gales are 2nd and 7 yards from the McGill 15-yard line now, and here comes the option to O'Doherty. Right, flips it out to O.D. to the 5-yard line. O'Doherty, touchdown, Gales! Oh, what a play! A flag on the play, and the Gales are waiting for that, but I think it's called against the McGill Redmen. It is, and the Gales will have the touchdown.
So that's touchdown number 2 for O.D. as he had one earlier, a pass for Bobby Wright, and the Gales just racking up the points, looking very impressive here, and they do need to look impressive as they have to play the OUAA.
Gales up by a score of 28-5, and that's with the convert waiting here.
If you were going to see Peter Harrison and Ross O'Doherty connect for a touchdown, I'm sure you would have seen it that way on the option play there, as they're known for connecting on that. Indeed, they do there.
Marble on the convert is good, and the Gales go up 23-5. Well, the Gales really making it no contest here in the 4th quarter, putting some points on the board, and they look like a football team that's ready to meet a team from the OUA. I'll tell you, this is one fired-up club, and they played a game which was all around very good. Good passing, good running, and good playmaking, and the Gales have played a superb game here, better than we've seen them in the last 4 games, I'd say, by a long shot.
Certainly this has been their best game in the last 4, Jim. No question, and the defense, especially the defensive line, has just been outstanding, pressuring the McGill quarterbacks. And also, when they didn't get the pressure, the defensive halfbacks did cover quite well, the receivers. And so it's 4:12 left to play here in this O-QIFC final. The Queens Gold Gales lead it 29-5, and this is their 7th year in 8 years that they are in the O-QIFC final.
Well, the sports director's decided that it's over, you can tell that.
He brought out the clear cup.
Out in front by 29-5, and still 4 minutes and 12 seconds showing on the board. Here's the kickoff from Barrable, a good one down to the 5-yard line and fielded by the McGill Redmen there. And it's Falcone who tries to bring it out and gets it to the 25-yard line.
And Scott Bissessar making a fine open field tackle there. And boy, he's happy about that. An outstanding receiver by showing his efforts as a special teams player as well.
Recall homecoming week when Bissessar ran downfield and picked up that kickoff, as they were slow to pick up the ball on the kickoff, and Bissessar ran down and picked it up.
Bissessar, of course, the fastest man on the Golden Gales.
Okay, the ball on the McGill 23-yard line. 1st and 10. Joachim still in there, quarterback for the Redmen, and he rolls out of there, passing out this time to number 22, Lemaire, and Lemaire gets the first down as he gets it just to the 34-yard line, or very close to the first down. We may be calling for a measurement on this one.
Well, we see Mike Patterson in there now as one of the defensive backs. He's not usually a starter, but getting some playing time now, as he's getting experience this game pretty well in hand. The McGill Redmen trailing it by 24 points, just 3:34 remaining in the game.
Peter Harrison showing himself very effectively out there for the Gales, and on the option, which is still alive in the Gales playbook, as you can see there, scores the touchdown. O'Doherty from Harrison, and now Joachim on the give up the middle, and it's Lemaire, and Lemaire can't get anywhere as the Gales defense drive him up and take him back to the line of scrimmage and drop him there. 2nd and about 8 yards to go now.
Well, once again, the defense showing just how effective they have been, as they've held the Redmen to 5 points only this game, and some of those points coming from the Gales offense, as they've given up a safety touch, 2 points there. They've just held them to a few singles.
Well, sorry, Richard, the Gales, not only did they need to win this game, but I think they had to put on an impressive showing to build up some momentum to go against the OUAA champion.
Okay, the 3 whistles indicating 3 minutes left, as 3:06 now showing on the board. And the Redmen are 2nd and 7 from their own 35-yard line. Joachim once again is back to pass, this time looking for Druckmann, incomplete over Druckmann's head that time.
And John Corrigan, the ball hawk, is looking for an interception there, made a diving effort, but just couldn't get to it on time. He, of course, is the free safety, and he lines up 25 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Well, we hope in the post-game show that we can bring you a final from Toronto on the McMaster Toronto game, but as both games are being played just at the same time. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do that. Stay with us for the post-game show, and if we do have that score, you'll know who the Gales will be hosting here at Richardson Stadium next week.
And also we'll let you know on the other Queens collegiate scores tomorrow night on Sports Probe at 7 o'clock. And the official making sure the ball is dry as the center, Steve Gedney, for the McGill Redmond, wasn't satisfied with that ball.
They're down, and Klimas is aligning to punt the ball here at his own 25-yard line. And he does get a punt away. End over end comes down here at the 45-yard line. And Fenning just kind of pushes it out of bounds at the 47-yard line. And so the Gales will have time to run some more time off the clock here, scrimmaging from their own 47.
Not much offense from the McGill Redmond in this quarter, as the defense for the Gales has just been outstanding. No completions so far in this one completion, that is, to Lemaire.
Okay, the Gales up by a score of 29-5 with 2 minutes and 48 seconds, showing here in the O-QIFC final. They give this time to Bergeron. Bergeron's got some yards. Make it McKinnon. McKinnon down to the 40-yard line, to the 35, to the 25. Still some room down to the 15. Oh, a big pickup by Jamie McKinnon. Gets it down to the 15-yard line of the McGill Redmond. The Gales are in position to put some more points on the board. And Bill Sparrow is happy about it, let me tell you.
And another impressive sweep. That was the same play as when Sterling ran for big yardage. And McKinnon getting some playing time in that halfback spot. And a big gain there. And the Gales could put some more points on the board here. They already have 29 to the McGill 5.
First down and 10 from the 15-yard line. Once again, Harrison quarterbacking for the Gales. Fakes to Sterling. Now goes back to pass, looking for Bergeron. And incomplete. Just thrown a little ahead of Ted Bergeron. And there's a flag on the play as well.
Not quite sure, but it looked like procedure on the Gales. We'll just have to wait for the signal from the referee.
Well, perhaps early motion on the Gales line. Indeed, procedure is the call, and the Gales Redmond will decline that one, and it's going to be first, make it second and 10 from the 15 now.
A lot of rookies in there. Of course, making a good block on that McKinnon run was the rookie wide receiver, Connie Mandela, and that's why McKinnon got some extra yardage.
Okay, 2 minutes and 33 seconds showing on the board. And this time Harrison keeps it himself and is caught in the backfield.
Well, he didn't fool the Redmond there, as Luke Lemaire for the Redmond, the right defensive end, was right in the backfield of the Golden Gales and tied up Harrison right away.
Well, third down, and the Gales do not send in Bill Barable. So on 3rd and 10 from the 15, the Gales will be going for it here. Gales need 10 yards for the first down, and they could put it in the end zone. Right. Flips it out to McKinnon. McKinnon on the option, going around the end, and he's got the first down, and touchdown Gales! Oh, McKinnon ran it in all the way from the 15-yard line and was virtually untouched by the McGill Redmond. And an unbelievable play puts the Gales up by a score of 35-5.
Well, McKinnon showing that he's not a rookie, or you wouldn't think he was anyway. Some fine open field running once again on that option play. An impressive drive here by Pete Harrison. Coming into the game, relieving Bobby Wright, as a lot of second stringers are getting some playing time in there. As this game is well in hand, 35-5, and
well in hand, I would say, with 2 minutes and 5 seconds remaining. Here goes the convert attempt by Barable, and it's good. So the Gales up by a score now of 36-5, and really running away with the O-QIFC final.
Quite an impressive showing so far. Of course, the Gales have had McGill Redmond's number in the playoffs for the last few meetings.
What's it?
Okay, so Jamie McKinnon gets some points on the playoff schedule there as he gets his first touchdown of the playoffs, and 6 points for the Golden Gales in that respect.
McKinnon, of course, I'm sure you'll have a bright future here with the Golden Gales, as he's been quite impressive so far this year. And now getting set to kick this off is...
Now we have signs that head coach Doug Hargreaves thinks this one is over too, as indeed he certainly does have reasons for believing that. Connie Mandela kicking off for the Golden Gale, sends it down to the 10-yard line, and the Redmen with some room there bring it back to the 30, and a pretty stiff tackle thrown there, and the Redmen are stopped at the 30-yard line where they field the ball. Mike Shad just hammered whoever that was running it back for the Redmen.
Falcone just got creamed by Mike Shad.
Doug Hargreaves has left his spotting spot up here in the press box and has made his way down to the field as the Gales are doing a little early celebrating on the bench there as they have this one no doubt in hand. 36-5 with a minute and 51 seconds showing on the clock, and the McGill Redmen still trying to put something together offensively. Have the ball first down and 10 from their 30. Joachim will be going back to pass, and incomplete to Miles Druckmann.
Miles Druckmann, of course, he was the hero in the final regular season game, which gave the Gales their only loss of the season, catching that last play touchdown pass. But so far, he's been ineffective as he hasn't had any catches.
Well, indeed, the whole McGill offense has been ineffective today. Somewhat surprising, I think, as they had a solid performance last week against Concordia, but perhaps relying too much on that passing game has hurt the Redmen today.
That's true, Richard, as they do live and die by the pass.
Okay, Joachim back to pass again, and this time looking out there for number 20, Lalonde, and Lalonde makes the reception and runs out of bounds. This one's going to move the 6 for the first down. Here comes Rick Miller, and I'll tell you, he's got a score for us from the McMaster-Toronto game, I'll bet you. 2016 Toronto is the score Rick Miller is shouting at us, so... And that's a final score, too. So the Toronto Blues have beaten the McMaster Marauders, and it looks like it's going to be the old rivalry, the Queens Golden Gales against the Toronto Varsity Blues.
And the fans want the Blues badly.
Meanwhile, on the field here, the McGill Redmen still trying to field the ball, and that time it was number 22, Lemire, running the ball for about 5 yards.
Good hit by Ian Deacon on Lemire.
Boy, it's tough to concentrate on this game now with McGill trying to run the ball when they're behind by 31 points here with 2 minutes remaining.
And you just heard the announcement over the PA system here, and all the fans hear it, and they just love it. They want to play the Varsity Blues. Of course, Gales haven't played the Varsity Blues since 1974. So that old rivalry will be rekindled.
Okay, Joachim still trying here. 2nd down and 5, and throws it out of bounds, and there's going to be a penalty to the Golden Gales.
Well, John Thompson, the rookie, was all over Ray Lalonde, and probably a face masking or rough play incident. It was quite a high tackle, and it was out of bounds as well. Pass interference is the call.
Well, it's been a long time since the Toronto Blues, I don't know how long, have played at Richardson Stadium, but it's going to be quite a zoo here, I bet, next week, as the Blues will be here at Richardson Stadium to take on the O-QIFC champion Queen Golden Gales, and it's only a minute and 5 seconds till the Gales can be officially crowned O-QIFC champion. Joachim back to pass here again, and this time going out of bounds with the throw attempted for Rick Falcone.
Well, you gotta wonder about that one, as John Thompson was all over Falcone, but no flags on that play.
Pass it, John Thompson right in the back as he was looking at Falcone there, running down the field with him, but you're right, no pass interference called, 2nd down and 10. It's all academic now. Next week, 1 o'clock. If you don't come down here, be sure to tune in to 1490 as we'll be bringing you this game.
And we'll try to have some details of that Toronto McMaster game. And the sports crew here getting set for the clear cup.
Okay, Joachim, 1st and 10 from the 52-yard line. And he fakes and then goes back to pass. A lot of pressure. Throws it out here for Lemire. And Lemire down to the 45, almost to the 40, and out of bounds. He may have the first down on that play. Good running by Lemire.
Well executed screen pass as they brought the defensive lineman in and just flared it out to Lemire, and he picked up about 10 yards. We'll have to see. There's also a flag on the play, and you see John Corrigan out there, and just an indication of how muddy that field is. You can barely see his number as he's covered from head to toe. course, he just about does everything for the Gales, returning punts, playing the free safety, as well as holding on field goals and converts.
You know, that is a good point, is the shape of the field, and it makes a bigger difference, I think, for McGill than other teams, because McGill plays half their games on artificial turf at home, and so perhaps they're not used to playing on the muddy fields as much as some of the other O-QIFC teams, although they do play all their other games on natural turf.
Sorry, Jim, not only that, but they don't have a very strong running game, and when field conditions are like this, it's the run that sort of more or less wins it for you. It's very hard to pass well with conditions as they are today.
Well, rough play is called against the McGill Redmond, and the ball is brought all the way back to the Redmond 43-yard line. Just 50 seconds showing on the clock here in the O-QIFC final. The Gales are on top by a score of 36-5, and we're really just awaiting the end of the game where the Gales will be deemed O-QIFC champion. And from the 43-yard line, it is second down and about 30 yards to go here. A little razzle-dazzle as Menard just drops the ball and just picks it up in time. What a play, Andy Holman. Joachim went back and threw it to Holman, and Holman went to throw it and just kind of toppled it over his back and then just fell on the ball.
Well, it doesn't quite have the finesse that Tom McCartney had at doing that halfback option. Yeah, he was looking for a receiver, couldn't find anybody, and then just couldn't hang on to the ball anymore. And luckily, he did recover it, although it wouldn't really make a difference in the outcome of the game, as the Gales have this well in hand, 36-5.
36 seconds showing on the clock here at Richardson Stadium, as the Gales fans on the other side are still calling for UAT to show up here next week. As indeed they will. Very poor punt by Climas, and it just rolls along the ground to Harold Krebs. He picks up the ball and downs it at the McGill 45-yard line.
Wow, a little lack of concentration there by the McGill Redmen. I'm sure they're a little dejected, but they've had a very successful season, knocking off the number 6 ranked Concordia Stingers last weekend, having a good season at training camp. They didn't feel that they would have a very good season, losing 20 veterans.
Just 21 seconds showing on the clock now. The Gales first and 10 from the McGill 45-yard line. And Harrison will give the ball off to McKinnon. McKinnon still looking for yards here, gets it to the 35 and picks up a first down for the Gales. Mark, you mentioned that the McGill Redmond did have a successful season. Indeed, that's worth saying. The McGill Redmond finishing 4-3-0 and getting into third place in the O-QIFC, and then doing what I consider to be outstanding, beating the Concordia Stingers, who are a very tough team on their home field on top of it all. And they did have a very good season. They named 2 people to the All-Star team, and also the head coach, Charlie Bailey, being named as the coach of the year. And they did play very strong football against the Golden Gales in the earlier game. No time on the clock. This will be the last play of the game. Harrison just goes down on one knee, and that makes it official. The Golden Gales are O-QIFC champions. We'll see if we can do this right here.
There it goes. Luckily no holes in the roof.
Okay, and a massive oil fire is about to take place on Richardson Stadium field.